Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you lovely folks joining me here nice and early over at Marvel Snap Zone. Welcome back, ladies and gents. Hopefully you're all doing very well today. It's good to see you in for this very first ever live stream here over at Marvel Snap Zone. It's going to be our first time doing this, so of course do bear with us. There will be some kinks, some issues, and some things to fix in the future. But hopefully you enjoy the show much like I do, and we can have a good time playing games of Marvel Snap together. Nice to see so many folks hopping in nice and early. Plenty of questions on the docket early as well. BW, what's the easiest deck to pilot in Pool 2? Probably Kazoo, honestly, my friend. If you're looking to just grind cubes and smash your way up to infinite, Kazoo's probably the way to do it. How long do you guys play Snap per day, and how long for you to climb to infinity? It's a bit of an awkward one, Wong, unfortunately. I play Snap for a few hours a day when I'm doing stuff for work, but I also play on a number of different accounts to try and get a number of accounts up to as many cards as possible, so it's kind of hard for me to give you an idea of how long it takes to get to infinity on any one account, unfortunately. Hey Adrian, hope you're well. Welcome on into our first live stream over here on YouTube. Thank you all for coming to hang out. So yeah, looking to do this on a semi-regular basis if it proves to be popular. We're going to see how it feels and what happens overall. But the plan of action for tonight is for me to jam some games with some of the decks that will be appearing on tomorrow's tier list update. So we've obviously got our weekly tier list coming out tomorrow. So you get a little bit of a teaser. Going to be playing some of the deck lists that will appear on that tonight, getting some games in, seeing how they feel, and getting to grips with them myself because I don't normally get the chance to play with them before that tier list goes public. So as always, folks, if you do enjoy what you see tonight, you fancy supporting the channel, there's now a number of ways you can do it. Of course, click that subscribe button if you haven't done so before. It means you won't miss any of these live streams, won't miss any of the daily content coming out over here at Marvel Snap Zone. Alternatively, you can now become a member of the channel if you want to get access to some Marvel-themed emotes, a little badge for the chat as well. During live streams, you have the ability to do that if you wish. And of course, that tip page also now available if that's the kind of thing you would prefer to get into. So, we're going to hop on over to the in-game screen. I'm going to show you the first deck list we're going to be starting off with tonight, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get ourselves underway with a number of games. So let's hop on over to our first deck list for the night. How often are we making decks with cards that seem awful? I like to see how good a deck I can make with stuff like Dagger, Crystal, and Quake. Paul, for the most part, we make decks with everything, to be honest with you, bud. People obviously just open every card. Like, it doesn't really matter how good it is in terms of Pool 1, Pool 2, Pool 3. People want a deck list to play with everything, so we do try and build with everything where possible, and obviously when people have success with unique decks, we try and feature them on the channel as well. Not super often. There's definitely obviously more decks out there with the big hitters, but we do try. We do try to do so pretty regularly. Okay, so starting things off tonight with a version of Sarah Miracle. This is one that we actually get asked for gameplay for quite a lot, so it seemed like a pretty good, solid place to start. This, however, is a slight update to your regular version of Sarah Miracle. Some cool changes in this deck list that we're featuring this week that, personally, I hadn't seen before prior to this. So we're doing some cool stuff over here. We've got access to Forge and Okoye. So Forge here, of course, known for bumping up the next card you play with some additional power, and Okoye going to help our deck have additional power too. Now, why is this relevant in a Sarah Miracle shell? Well, we're choosing to play a number of cards in this list that choose to have multiple bodies for playing one card, mostly being Brood, which is obviously fantastic at giving us 3 bodies with the exact same power, and Mr. Sinister here as well, who is great at giving us 2 bodies for the exact same power as well, letting us kind of double up on those buffs. Now, Sarah Miracle's game plan is always about the final turn of the game. It's about having a huge, powerful turn 6. Really simply stuff. So we're going to look to try and abuse that by putting stats on our cards in our deck preemptively, and then power through to that turn 6 and play out a chunk of stuff on the final turn. Just missing Sarah for this one? Whoa, it's a pretty big miss. It's kind of hard to play a deck like this without Sarah, but maybe you can. You see Dino decks everywhere in Pool 2, but don't see it at all in metagame lists. What changes in Pool 3 make Dino not viable? It's not so much that Dino isn't viable, to be honest. You can still play a pretty good Dino deck in Pool number 3. The problem is, he gets a lot more contention for like the 5-cost slot for a lot of the decks that are doing the best right now in Marvel Snap. When you look at like the meta game share, it's like, cool, the Sarah decks are doing great things. Well, that deck never wants to play anything on turn 5 except for Sarah. Discard, you know, the Lockjaw discard deck, for example, doesn't really ever want to play a Devil Dinosaur. We get like Aero, for example, in a lot of the Bayro and the Destroy decks that's, really shining right now, having a great time, and Aero fills that 5-drop slot as well. Dino, yeah, just kind of has a bit of a low ceiling in terms of power, but it's very good in the decks it's good in, so you'll see that when those decks are the best thing to be doing in Snap, they'll climb up the ladder, you'll see plenty of Dino. It's not like the card suddenly gets bad, it just doesn't really fit in the decks that are dominating the game right now, at least in my opinion anyway. So yeah, this is where I'm starting tonight. I think this is pretty cool. It's a nice unique update to the Serra deck, so looking forward to giving this one a shake and seeing if it feels the same as the previous Serra Miracle list. This account is starting down at rank 50 tonight. We are of course in pool 3, this account does have a full collection, but we are going to be grinding our way up the ranks this evening, as this one is nowhere near infinite just yet. So let's hop on in, play some games, and see how things feel, huh? Every time I see my title, I'm like desperate for the working from home, or like this is my full-time job title. I really hope I crack it in a cache eventually. Okay, searching for our opponent here, we do find them. Opening hand is a bit mediocre. We do have our Serra though. Finding Serra early is pretty rewarding for this deck, because again, it's all kind of about turn 6 for the most part. So, no turn 1 play for us here is fine. We only have Nova. No worries, BW. Happy to help. That's mostly what I'm here for. Fingers crossed. Okay, so Shuri's Lab, Death's Domain. Death's Domain is actually not too bad for this deck because of Mr. Sinister and Brood. I think there's a good chance we play Brood into it next turn, to be honest. So, I think I'm just going to start stacking Angela into Shuri's Lab. Get some stats online early. Let Serra have the more powerful final turn if possible. Murder World, not the best location to be playing into either. However, we can kind of give ourselves a good turn 4 if we prefer, giving ourselves some juice with Mr. Sinister. That seems pretty good. So what we're going to do, we're going to Brood into Death's Domain here, get some bodies in here. Opponent looks like they're playing to it as well, so I'm assuming they're either removing the domain or have a similar kind of trick. Okay, Electro, sure. You do want that one to die, so that makes sense that we're throwing it into Death's Domain. But we do have some bodies in there to be winning that location. I am indeed a former MTG player, yeah. Played for, well, still play actually, but played for about 12 years or so now. Been playing a lot of Magic over the years, so that's where that name comes from. Also, my real name is HowlingMines, so it makes sense to kind of make the pun. Opponent snaps. I do think we're in a fine position here, so I'm gonna keep on with this one. I'm not really interested in keeping Forge's body, so I'm actually gonna kind of throw it into Death's Domain and then juice up Mr. Sinister over in Murder World. But yeah, I play a lot of TCGs. Most of my background is in like collectible card games. It's kind of where I started making content, to be honest. And then found myself over here at Snapzone, which is great. Do you go with a different package or sub a different card? Lina, I think if you don't have Brood, you're probably better off aiming for one of the more typical versions of Serra Miracle with like Mojo and those kind of toys. This list is kind of very much built to abuse Mr. Sinister and Brood to try and get those buffs onto them preemptively. So if you are missing Brood, I think there are plenty of Serra Miracle decks you can play, but probably not this version. Opponent with the Wong is kind of actively terrifying here, actually. I don't think it changes too much. I think we are still loading Serra into Shuri's Lab. Thank you very much for the new subscriptions, guys. Appreciate it. Indeed, the Doctor Doom, kind of something we were a little teeny bit worried about, to be completely honest. Not what we were hoping to see. Okay, so what are we doing here? Just got to pull 2. You got Aero and Magneto. Ooh, and he pulled it like I can smack them in to be consistent. Honestly, they're both really good mid-range cards, Mark. It's hard to go too far wrong. I'm not sure we're necessarily ahead here, to be honest. I think this is just going to be a stat fight, and we'll do the best we can in terms of playing out bodies. But if this is like Odin, we're just boned. We kind of can't beat an Odin. I think we're supposed to retreat, given the snap already. I'm gonna be leaving this one, I think. We cannot beat Odin in that spot, sadly. Pretty rough, but I think we have to respect it there. No dice to start, but I'm sure we can pick up a bit of an improvement from there. Ooh. It's going to take a hot second for me to get used to this being a live thing. Again, it's like kind of hard to play games well, especially when you've got like Rust, so we'll see how I do. No turn 1 play is fine. Necrotia, not the best location for this deck, to be honest. You are trying to fill up everything where possible. The main difference is in strategy between Snap and like MTG and TCGs. Yeah, I think you've got a pretty good comparison down there, to be honest, BW. Snap very much is less about how many games you win and more by like how much you're able to win them by because of the stat mechanic. It very much reminds people more of poker than something like Magic or something like that. I think the best kind of comparisons you can find is very much like Snap being so quick and punchy, and most TCGs being like best of 3 games means that your strategy points kind of fall other ways. Like, you really don't mind playing a deck in Snap that like is super inconsistent, because if you're winning 8 cubes every time you play it, that's fine. Whereas, you know, something like that doesn't really work in other TCGs. Aero is definitely a high roll right now. Couldn't agree more. Okay, so early Okoye here, pretty good. Thank you for the new sub, folks. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. We are probably just going to be Scarlet Witching this Necrotia here to give ourselves the ability to play into more locations happily. We do have our Sarah on 5. Okay, the peak kind of makes that actively horrible. Okay, thank you, Scarlet Witch. I appreciate your input. Okay. Well, this Mysterio got significantly worse. However, the most of our hand is okay otherwise. We really kind of wanted that for that final turn push, though. It's a pretty big miss to have the peak flipping us over like that. Pretty sure this is a rescue turn. The question is where we want it. And I think I'm fairly likely to play Sarah mid here, so I'm going to be going mid. Opponent also goes mid. That is kind of less than ideal. Sabertooth Venom, sure. This is mostly fine. Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. Like, it's kind of the big one that stands out to a lot of people, is that, like, you know, nearly every card game that's existed prior to Snap is long, grindy, very much requires you to be consistent. Snap isn't about that. Snap's about doing the thing, and as long as you can do the thing and catch your opponent off guard, you're going to pick up way more cubes than just playing a consistent deck that makes your opponent retreat every time you do the powerful play. So we're definitely playing Sarah here. The question is what our turn 6 looks like. We are kind of maybe picking a fight we didn't need to pick in Nova Roma here, but triggering Rescue is definitely correct. Our Killmonger can take out this Sunspot pretty happily. Don't really feel comfortable snapping yet, though. Opponent replays their Sabertooth mid, plays Moon Knight, eats the Mysterio, no problem. That Mysterio wasn't getting played, ever, so that's okay. Alright, this isn't looking too bad. I imagine our final turn is probably better than our opponent's here, especially drawing the Nova. Okay, so let's go Angela, Forge, Killmonger Nova Carnage. Opponent's snapping here as well. Okay, so I think what we actually do here is we do it this way, right? We go Nova, Forge, Killmonger, Carnage. Hopefully that's good enough. Lady Sif eats a blade, sure. Wolverine, that's fine. Yeah, I think this is good enough. Yeah, very nice. Okay, that last turn had some moving pieces to think about for a hot second there, but thankfully, correctly played to locations that mattered. Got our maximum stats. Very nice, we'll take our 4 cubes. I think there's a good chance I should have snapped back there, but I kind of panicked. Was trying to figure out the correct play for a bit too long, was running out of time. Ooh, free. We pick up a quest while we're here. This deck's pretty sweet. We haven't done too much. So Brood looked really good in that first game there. Mr. Sinister hasn't done all too much for us so far. Kind of want to find more of the early buff games, which we have. Well, we just found Okoye, but unfortunately both of our sweet buff targets are in our hand. Hey, Big Jim. How are you, my friend? Hopefully all is well with you. Okay, so once again, no turn 1 play. Not all that surprising. We only have Nova available to us. I'll stop saying that eventually, I'm sure. Limbo makes Okoye a much better turn 2 play here, so we'll do that. Get some juice on our stuff, even though it's not our multi-body cards. Icebox makes Carnage cost 3, sure. This is interesting. I think I just Forge here with the intention of brooding next turn, even though it means we are playing off curve. Because I think the Forge on Brood is so much better than playing like Mr. Sinister here. Or like forging on Mr. Sinister next turn, playing Brood naked this turn. So I think that's what I'd rather do. Crimson Cosmos is a really bad location for us though. We've got to be kind of careful here about how many stats we can spread over what places. Sarah is a pretty reasonable pickup, I should say. So, gonna add 12 power of Brood over into this icebox. Thunk. Opponent will storm the Crimson Cosmos. Thank you. It's not a location that we were particularly happy to see. The question is, how do we now play back into it? Because we can just play Sarah into it. Or we can choose to, like, not challenge it. I'm fairly sure this is correct, because we're either going to challenge Storm successfully, or we're going to want to be able to fill these last 3 zones here anyway over the last turn of the game. I'm going to challenge Flooding here. I'm not entirely sure it's correct, but I'm gonna. Hey Mark, good to see you, friend. Hopefully all is well. Opponent with Jessica Jones Nova. Okay, so we're not winning Flooding right now. Sadly, I have no way of popping this Nova that doesn't completely suck. I think I'm going to Scarlet Witch this Limbo away. I think that has to be the play. So let's go thunkety thunkety thunk, snap, and see if we can steal this on turn 6. Whoa, opponent just runs away. Nice, okay. Alright, sweet. Good stuff. Opponent with the fist bump. Brood looking really strong alongside Forge there. Very cool. Alrighty, finding our Sarah early is definitely doing us a favour. You know what's not doing us a favour? Squirrel Park. I mean Central Park. All these one-cost cards clogging up zones we want to fill with stuff is less than ideal. Hopefully we can find Killmonger to clear all this out a little bit. Elysium. Okay, well, everything is getting played this game. Speak of the devil, we do find the Killmonger. Okay, so are we playing this Mr. Sinister out yet? Probably not. I think we're holding this hand for now. Looking to play Rescue next turn into Sarah, and then look to just kind of rip on the final turns of the game. This Killmonger is going to be disgusting, huh? Oh, that icebox throws a huge spanner in that plan. Okay. Well, Gonna play Rescue nonetheless. Is there any news about collector's tokens? Unfortunately, nothing that we didn't... So we popped out a video and a guide, I want to say 2 days ago? Might be 3. Time's a bit of an illusion at this point. That kind of gives you all the details and the information that we currently know about collector's tokens, their expected drop rates, the kind of places you'll be able to find them. But in terms of an actual steadfast date, I believe the only thing we know is that we're expecting them before the end of the year, but we don't have an actual rigid date. Beyond that, unfortunately, we haven't learned anything new since that article went out. Okay, so this is going to be pretty good, I think. Let's go... Angela... Mysterio Killmonger. Is that a good turn? That sounds pretty good. I think I'm snapping here. Honestly, I'm super excited to hear more about collector's tokens. I think they're kind of the thing we easily get the most questions about right now. Understandably, a lot of folks are pretty much just sat around waiting for cards at this point, which is a bit of a shame, but hopefully we have a reasonable enough solution when all is said and done. Killmonger going to clean up a chunk of space. Very nice. Alrighty, so we are just playing out this Sarah here with the intention of playing Carnage mid and some other stuff on the final turn of the game. This Okoye mostly irrelevant, but you know. Cool, just 4 bodies, so we just Carnage first, I think, because it's worth the same amount of stats wherever it goes, and then we go Mr. Sinister, Okoye, Scarlet Witch, and we should have filled up everything. Looking good. The end game power you have from a card like Sarah is just crazy. They'll probably be released for the next pass. Yeah, pretty good here. The Infinite from the Dracula, largely irrelevant. I feel hesitant to say yes to that, unfortunately, Mark, just because I simply don't know. The only information we have is before the end of year, so you should be expecting them before 2023, but in terms of, like, will it be available at the start of December when the next season pass comes out? I just don't know, I'm afraid. Seems reasonable, but sadly I don't work for Second Dinner. As cool as that would be, they make sweet video games. Alrighty, so we have that little 1-2 punch of Forge into Brood here, which is very, very sweet. Are we playing out this Nova on 1? I don't think we are, right? We don't really know where we want this to go yet. It can be beneficial later on alongside Angela for a stat bonus before we, like, Killmonger it away. I think I'm just going to hold it for now. No worries, man. Happy to help. Alrighty, gonna go for the big old... Does this work? Does Broodlings get, like, turbo-powered from Shuri's lab or not? I have no idea. Let's find out. So I'm gonna play this Forge, and I'm gonna try and brood into Shuri's lab, and hopefully... never mind. I will never know whether that works until the next time it comes up. Bar with no name is an awful location for us. Bishop not worth it in this version. I think it's contesting for the same kind of space, unfortunately, her. Like, you have a finite amount of 3 drops you can play in Sarah Miracle because of, you know, you need your whole hand to cost 1 as often as possible on the last turn of the game. And 3 drops obviously cost 2 instead. So you got to look at, like, you know, maybe I play 2 copies. And I think in this deck you're playing Brood and Killmonger. So you probably... I think you want both of those more than you want... the Bishop. This is really crap here because of the Bifrost. I think we just have to brood into Hell's Kitchen and accept that it's loading up this this Bifrost location when it slides. I might just play nothing on turn 4 so that I don't end up with anything in the bar with no name. Yeah, I actually think we're just passing here because I genuinely do not want anything in the bar with no name. Just want all of these broodlings to slide over. No worries, man. Happy to help. They don't work? Oh, that kind of sucks. Well, thank you for letting me know and not making me find out the hard way. It makes sense, right? Because the on-reveal should happen first. But I wasn't 100% sure. Alrighty, Sarah on the left. I think we're probably going to be good here. Because we can always Killmonger away the Ant-Man too. Gonna snap. Play Sarah on the left and snap away. Opponent runs away. Makes a lot of sense. No way of getting that Scarlet Witch out of Bar Sinister. Not Bar Sinister, bar with no name. Too many bars. Way too many alcoholic beverage serving places in the Snap universe. Gonna take a couple more with this and I'm gonna move on to one of our other decks for today. I'm still kind of figuring out exactly how many like games to play with each deck when we're doing stuff like this. Obviously it's the first stream, who knows? Kind of figuring it out from scratch. So we've been playing this one for like half an hour. So like I might take a few more with it and then move on. If there's anything in particular you guys really want to see, probably a good time to let me know though. Obviously I'm sticking to stuff that we're featuring on the tier list, so I don't go throwing out stuff like, you know, weird brew archetypes and stuff. But if there's anything that's like a, you know, established deck, or, you know, maybe one of the tier 3 or tier 4 decks or whatever you really want to see, do let me know and we'll see what we can do. Happy to play out the Okoye here. Earlier the better on this one. I don't think I have much of a preference where this goes. Negative? Okay. I do enjoy playing some negative. Just regular negative? Or like Sarah negative? Or... because I'm pretty sure the regular negative decks are practically non-existent at this point, unfortunately. Sarah is really good. Idle Silence a little annoying if we draw Sarah. Otherwise, probably fine. I don't really want to play out Killmonger here. Doesn't achieve very much. Play Discard? Yeah, the Lockjaw Discard deck is on the docket for tonight. We will definitely play it at some point this evening. Yeah, okay. So I think for the most part, my opponent appears to be on move. I'm just gonna take New York away. I think. There's not an awful lot else for me to do this turn that feels particularly strong. Opponent with a Nightcrawler, okay. Now our Killmonger looking a bit better. Sarah, Colleen, and Mojo. Woof. That is some fantastic opens to start pool 3. Congratulations, Mark. Okay, well, this turned out pretty well for us. I'm just going to set up this rescue. Probably going to do it in Monster Metropolis because there's a good chance it's the largest statted thing. Would love to draw Sarah here. We are 1 in 5. But even if we don't, we have a pretty good final turn. Final 2 turns, I should say. Opponent flips over their Nightcrawler. Doesn't do an awful lot else, though. Okay. Wow, okay. I will be snapping if we're going to draw Sarah like that. No worries, Mark. I always like to hear when people are happy with their pool 3 opens. Because Lord knows I hear about so many people that are upset by them. So, nice to hear a few goodies for a change. Opponent snaps back. Okay, this one's going to be interesting. Wong Reveal is on the list for tonight as well, don't worry. We'll definitely be playing some of that at some point this evening. Okay, how do we sequence this turn? Nightbot's struggling, unfortunately. We'll be having to deal with that next stream, I think. Okay. So, Angela. Forge. Mysterio. Carnage, Killmonger. I think. Odin Wong combos. Yeah, we got some Wong reveal coming up for sure. How long do you think it will take you to complete Pool 3 if you play daily? Okay, so that's a bit of a tough one, because everyone playing daily plays, like, for different amounts of time, right? But for the most part, most people complete their collection somewhere between collector level 2600 and collector level, like, 3200, somewhere in that ballpark, depending on how lucky you are. I got all the way through in a couple months. I can't remember the exact details, but like 3-4 months. That was a landslide for us. Opponent didn't expect their entire board to disappear. Very nice. Bayro, yep, Bayro's built. We could definitely play some Bayro. Maybe some of the Pool 2 decks? Yeah, okay. I could definitely see that as well. Always buy the Season Pass and rank Infinity. Good stuff. That's all you can ask for. So I buy the Season Pass. I don't always make Infinite rank on every account, though. As I say, I'm trying... So what I'm trying to do, for the sake of content, is get all the cards on a few accounts, so that we have the ability to have a few accounts for Marvel Snap Zone. This account was the one I started playing with in beta, and it's had all the cards for about 400 levels or so now, which has been perfect for making content, but I spend more of my time on other accounts now, trying to, like, get them to catch up. Okay, this is very miserable. I think we're just going to be taking the negative zone away with this Scarlet Witch. These two locations have been pretty sad. Daredevil, you got it. Nidavellir is a pretty good one for a deck like this as well. Am I just filling this up with Brood? Maybe. No buffs is a little teeny bit awkward. I wouldn't say it's worth it to have a Smurf account, to be completely honest. I'm not using it as a Smurf account. It's very much like... For work, for the job, I very much want to be able to have access to, like, understanding the new player experience, like, seeing what people are going through right now at various stages of the game, so I can write better about that. And also, as I say, to have multiple accounts for when, like, you know, team play and stuff like that become... I think I'm doing this. When, like, you know, 1v1s and tournament play or, like, stuff like that becomes available, it means that we can make content over on Snap Zone with multiple accounts to play against each other. So that's mostly why I'm doing that. Hey, Snap Hero, pleasure to see you tonight. Hopefully all is very well with you. Well, 29 over here is pretty good. However, we're probably losing Flooded as a result. I guess 5, 6, 7, 8... We can put 9 power into Flooded. That seems pretty good. Let's do that. Yeah, it's not something I'd recommend for most people, but it's good for me for what I'm doing over here at Snap Zone. White Queen, sure. Okay, I think we're good here. Opponent knows where I'm playing this turn off Daredevil anyway. Everything's grand. Good to hear, my man. Thank you for checking us out tonight. No surprises for our opponent here, playing into Fist Tower. Nidavellir definitely isn't guaranteed, neither is the Flooded Zone, so I don't feel comfortable snapping this time, because we are still maybe in a bit of danger. You know what's been really impressive in this list so far? Honestly, Brood. Brood has looked super impressive. It picks up these buffs so well. It gives you so many, like, units on the final turn of the game that the opponent necessarily can't play around. Hobgoblin kinda sucks. I actually really wanted to draw this Nova to go alongside like Carnage or Killmonger. Now I can't play them both. I think Carnage might actually be my best play here. So I'm going to do that. Is a strat early to upgrade cards from common to uncommon, or to get some to infinity? Do I use gold for extra missions? So, gold for extra missions, yes, 100%. If all you're looking for is optimization, you don't care about anything else, using gold on missions will get you Season Pass XP and credits, as opposed to just getting you credits, which if you're happy to play and put the time in to complete the missions, that's going to get you further. So definitely do that. Spend your free gold on missions where you get the chance, in my opinion. In terms of upgrading from common to uncommon, or some to infinity, so upgrading everything to uncommon first is going to make you progress faster, but you will then slow down later. Like, it's going to give you more of a momentary boost at the beginning. You're going to, get to pool 2 faster, but you'll find as you, start making your way through pool 2, making your way towards pool 3, you'll start slowing down because you burnt through credits on low rarity upgrades early, where some other people didn't, and they were obviously waiting to upgrade just specific cards. Crushing it with this deck, honestly. This thing just feels great. And also, some people obviously just want their favourite cards to look nicer earlier too, so they prioritise that as well. So it kind of depends on the person. But again, if you're just talking optimization, that one has swings and roundabouts depending on which version of the approach you want to take. Glad to hear you're addicted though, Danny. Welcome to the fold. Unsurprisingly, I'm also fairly addicted to Snap. Probably going to take this game and one more game with this, so now I'm going to move on to something else, I think. Cloning Vats should be pretty good for us, I think. Obviously not playing Brood there, though. That would be stupid. Why is there a cap on boosters you can get daily? I think they want to encourage you to... So, this is a controversial thing, I suppose. Definitely going to play a Koye on 2 here. People want to... Second, they don't want to encourage you to sign in every day, right? Because if you're having to sign in every day, complete daily missions... you're going to play their game more often, right? Because you have to check in every single day. And I think the cap on boosters each day is part of that. Otherwise, you could just play for 9 hours in one day and never play for the rest of the week. Stuck in the 60s? Going to try and help you out. If I can show you some decks or some cool stuff tonight, then hey, here's hoping. Should you push in upgrading cards or wait for an update in the cache? So, your caches have their contents determined when you earn them. You do not get different contents brewed into Nidavellir. Seems great. You do not get different contents if you wait. If you're holding caches, just crack them open. There's no point waiting. The contents will be exactly the same even after Collector's Tokens release. We just can't stop snapping? We definitely can't, no. Too much snapping to be done. Credit starved, yeah. The bottleneck can definitely kick you, Danny, for sure. Easy win? Here's hoping. Opponent manages to armor into Cloning Vats. I'm pretty happy to just play out Rescue here. Think I'm likely to try and stack Angela and Cloning Vats on the final turn of the game, so I'm going to play to Fist Tower. Any replacement for Rescue in this deck? Yeah, I think so. Rescue's definitely a great stat stick for a deck like this, but you could replace it with another good stat stick card. You could try playing something like Mojo, for example. The combo with this deck, you're looking to use Serra on turn 5 to give you the largest possible surprise turn 6, meaning you can snap aggressively and catch your opponent out because they don't realise how many stats you're able to play on the final turn. So the opponent is definitely on Destroyer here. I think it's 1,000 boosters a day, I think, Daniel. Don't quote me on that, though. I could be wrong. I haven't checked in a hot second. Alright, so we're going to go Angela Mysterio here. I don't know if I beat a Destroyer this game, however. So I'm not, oh, opponent snaps. I'm going to stick around for a cube, but I think we're in danger. There's a good chance I retreat on the final turn of the game, depending on what my opponent plays out here. They've got a chunk of stats over here on Nidavellir. No worries, Snap Hero. My name is Scott, or you can call me HowlingMines. I go by HowlingMines on the internet. All over the place. So if you want to find me, that is where you'll find me. Alternatively, just find me at Snap Zone. I'm like here 7 days a week. It's 1k? Yeah, I thought I was right on that one. As I say, it's been a hot second, so it wasn't 100%. Ice is the witch, and we have Cosmo. Okay, I think... So let's do some math here. We can't Nova Carnage, unfortunately, because of these 2 armors. If our opponent plays Destroyer mid... HowlingMines, M-I-N-E-S. As in the explosive, or like a mine shaft, or one of the above. So we already beat Destroyer here, so can we stuff enough stats into Cloning Vat to beat Destroyer? I think we can, right? We just stuff 7 in, 8, 9, 10, 11... Alright, let's hope this is good enough. Nice to meet you properly, Leo. Opponent plays the Nidaveldir? That's not what I expected at all. Is this like Doctor Doom? Spectrum? Well, we beat Spectrum. Nice. I didn't think we were winning that one. This deck has been fantastic. I can see why we're ranking it so highly at the moment. Final turns of the game with this one are just very, very strong. Last game was Sarah Miracle, and then we'll move on to another tier list deck. If you do have a preference and you haven't already let me know, now is the time. I'm leaning towards Lockjaw Discard right now, but I could be swayed. No turn 1 play is the stock one for this deck. The Baby Doom variant, there's so many cool variants for Doom. There was a really sweet one, a super rare one in the store for me the other day, and I had to really resist buying it because I already have too many Dooms. Okay, Okoye on 2, definitely the trick here. Gonna shove it into Miniaturized Lab before we can't play anything over there. Opponent with the Cable, nice. Sarah is indeed in pool 3, yes, and she is very fun and very, very strong. One to look forward to if you haven't had the pleasure of finding her yet. Tinkerer's Workshop going to give us some juice. Well, that means we're going to play out this rescue. And given that we have to play into Compound on turn 5, I'm probably going to play my turn 4 into Tinkerer's Workshop. So let's jam rescue over there. Quinjet. Is opponent playing like hand size control, maybe? It's the only thing I can think of immediately that makes sense with Agent 13 and Quinjet. That being said, this Killmonger looks pretty solid right now. I think we can wait. I don't think Quinjet puts us in too much danger. Instead of needing to Killmonger it now off curve. I think I'm just going to go Angela Mysterio so that I can like carnage away the Mysterio clone. Arrow, Red Skull, Magneto, Debris, Human Torch. That is quite the list of cards. I'm glad you think so. I've been enjoying playing it. And Hela. Okay, so there's some good ones there, to be honest. Mostly Magneto and Arrow. Hela's pretty good in discard too. You've got some options to play with. It's exciting. Do you hope? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Arrow and Magneto are both very, very solid pull 3 cards. Very good chance you can make your way to infinity, for sure. Okay, so I think we just carnage this away. And then fill with Brood. No Sarah on turn 5 this game. Ah! Devil Dinosaur! This thing is huge. Okay, I don't think we're winning Avengers Compound anymore. It's a rather large dino. Hela's very strong. She is definitely like playing a casino for sure. Hey, Captain Calamari. Pleasure to have you here joining me. What decks can you use Arrow in? Well, the big one, of course, is Bayro, the death deck that kind of plays her at the top end. But you can play her in a number of mid-range shells with things like Kingpin. She's just really good on rate, to be honest. There's not a lot of decks that don't like feel okay playing Arrow, but you should definitely be looking for like those synergies. And the key to Arrow is very much to remember that the final turn of the game, you can pull stuff away from locations you're winning. That's where a lot of her power is. I think I'm retreating here, sadly. What, we jam 4-8 stats over here? Kill 2. Alright, it's the last game with the deck. Sod it. If I lose some cubes, I lose some cubes. For science. Have I tried the Sarah with the Destroy package that Den shared on the site? I've played it briefly. I haven't played it as much as I would like to have done. Opponent had Leader, right, that makes sense. The negative zone. Thank you, Scarlet Witch. Appreciate that. What a good way to end on that one, huh? I think for me, it's pretty close to being about the same as average Sarah Miracle, to be honest with you, Lina. Doom and Captain Marvel? Oh, yeah. So what can I say about this one, I guess, to round it off for this evening? This deck is very, very good. I understand the change of pace for people that are like... I'll switch to the deck list screen real quick. For people that have been like playing Sarah Miracle for a long time, this seems like a pretty incredible increase in like power level. Like maybe I'm just biased from like how that game went and how that selection of games went. But the ability to put Okoye stats and Forge stats onto Brood, Mr. Sinister on the final turn of the game, you can really catch people out with stats that they aren't expecting, which is real cool. Big fan of this one. Highly recommend it going forward. How do I feel about the lack of female Hispanic streamers in the Snap community? That's a real shame. I want to make it clear for anyone who's watching with us tonight, as far as I'm concerned, Marvel Snap, any other card game, any other hobby is for absolutely everyone, and everyone should be involved, but... You know, we will do our best to offer a platform where possible. But of course, if people don't want to be involved, people, you know, won't be involved. It's a shame if there's poor representation in general of certain communities. Hopefully, more people find their way into the field, if that's something they are looking to do. My favourite card is probably Mr. Negative, to be completely honest. Alright, I think I'm going to play some of the Lockjaw Dracula discard deck. This is one that we featured pretty prominently over the last couple of weeks. We've had some great success with this one. I'm just going to grab a screenshot so I can update it on screen for you guys as well. So if you're not familiar with this deck, this is kind of the most recent evolution of Discard. Like, Discard has been evolving for ages. It kind of fell off the tier list, found itself kind of unable to do very much, and people kept working on it, refining it, and they came to this conclusion, which has been like the most popular, most powerful version of Discard for a while. So what are we looking to do here? Well, we're actually trying to abuse the synergies of Lockjaw. Lockjaw, a card in pool 3, that whenever you play a card next to it, you can swap it with a card from your deck. So what does that let the Discard deck do? Well, we're looking to have one of our two big payoffs in our hand. If we have Apocalypse, a card that, of course, you'll be very familiar with regardless where you are on your journey, every time we discard it, it's going to get 4 power and go back into our hand. And then we have Swarm from pool 2, I believe, that every time you discard it, it will come back to your hand with 2 copies that cost 0. So plenty of ways to like rebuy stuff you discard. So there's a couple of synergies here you want to pay attention to. If we play our big discard effects next to Lockjaw, they will hopefully pull out some big fat units from a deck and still let us get our discards. But more importantly, if we make multiple copies of something like Swarm, we can play them next to Lockjaw and put them back into our deck to pull those discard effects out and discard more Swarms, making even more and even more and even more, which is a really powerful synergy. So what are we looking at in the... Coincidence? Maybe. So what we're looking at in terms of cards to discard, well, we've got quite a lot in this deck. Blade is probably the weakest one in my opinion. If you're looking to fit something else in this deck that you want to make space for, Blade is probably the weakest discard outlet and probably can leave the list in my opinion. Colleen Wing, however, pretty irreplaceable I think for this version, just because she's so good with Swarm in particular. Definitely worth keeping your eyes on her for discarding your lowest cost card. Moon Knight, an interesting way of interacting with your opponents, so you can discard and also make them discard in the process. Lady Sif, obviously quite a common one as well. Always going to discard Apocalypse if it's in your hand, as the only other 6-cost card in the deck should be America Chavez, meaning you won't draw it until turn number 6. Hellcow, of course, the premier 4-power, so for a 4-cost 6-power discard effect. Don't really want to put this one back into the deck with Lockjaw, but it's really good to pull out and will let you discard multiple cards at the same time. Last but not least, Swordmaster here, just great on curve, has fantastic stats for its cost, and will discard a random card for you on the way down. So what else do we fill this deck with? We've got a few other slots. to explain. Morbius here is just one of the best payoffs in general, because you want to discard as often as you can. This thing can often get to like 15, 20 power, something stupid like that. Dracula here just of course plays exceptionally well with Apocalypse on the final turn of the game. I'm a really big fan of this variant too, so happy to get to show it off, fingers crossed. And last but not least, America Chavez in this deck as well. Here mostly to improve your consistency, but also really good to pull out of the deck with Lockjaw for free. What can you play instead of Moon Knight, Hellcow, Colleen, Wing? So Gambit's definitely a good inclusion for sure. The other two, it gets a little bit harder. Colleen is hard to replace just because she's so good with Swarm. I would mostly just be looking for any other effects you can find that are happy to discard cards. I know that sounds a bit rough and like a bit of a cop-out answer, but that's mostly what these cards are in the deck to do. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to find good replacements that aren't just like significantly worse, but if you're looking to replace those cards, you are mostly looking for ways to discard in this list. So any card that lets you incidentally discard will do the job, I imagine, if you're looking to replace it. So, gonna head on over to the game screen. Let's jam some games with good old Lockjaw Dracula. Show you how this one works. I know Den is like super high on this deck. He's a really big fan of it in general. Hopefully we can show you why. Dream Dimension is fine for this deck, I think. No play for us on turn 1 here. You'll find there very rarely is, because it's only really Blade, which you never want to play on turn 1. I guess the key to this deck for a lot of people who have never played it before, it's worth keeping this in mind. You actually don't mind not starting to discard cards until like turn 4 or 5 a lot of the time in this deck. And the main reason for that is because your power pieces, your cards like Morbius, Dracula, you want to keep them safe, and you want to make sure they're going to be able to be played on curve, and don't want to risk discarding them, so you can hold back. However, in this case, it's pretty easy for us to play out Colleen Wing here and know for sure that we are going to be discarding Swarm, which is perfect. I think our best draw here would probably be Lockjaw. Get to do a little bit of Swarm spamming afterwards if we do manage to find... Oh! Well, that's a bit unfortunate. Well, we did draw the Lockjaw, but that plan kind of went out the window off the back of Cosmo stopping us from, you know, doing that. Opponent and you just snapped on a turn 1 ego. It's about sending a message. Like, players need to understand. Insta-snap on ego. Test your opponent's mettle. Alright, so we're going to be playing out the Dracula here, but we do kind of need something to pay it off later on. That Cosmo was kind of backbreaking, honestly. Feels bad, man. So this is ongoing Destroyer by the looks of it. Stuff costs 1 more this turn. Sheesh. We do not have any good options here. I guess I would like my opponent to discard their Destroyer. I can actually get this into the Crimson Cosmos for a turn, so I think I'm going to do that. Cosmo is a good doggo when you're the one playing him. Unfortunately, that's not me right now. But the card is very, very good for sure. I would like to rip the Destroyer out of my opponent's hand, please. That would make for some good content. Wolverine Nova, sure. Okay, we hit a Deathlock, no dice. Unfortunately, Lockjaw gone for us. This is looking pretty rough. That Cosmo was really bad news. We do draw Chavez. So I guess this is just going to be... Oh, we just... if we play Lady Sif, we end up discarding Chavez for sure. I'd rather discard it to Dracula. Yeah, there's no way I can guarantee that, so... I think this is my best bet. Are we ever winning this game? For a cube, I'm sticking around. Opponent does play into the Cosmos with Hobgoblin? Oh, that's bad. That's really bad. Hobgoblin was not my expected final turn play. Ugh. Oh, we lose by 1. Oh, dude. That's so brutal. Nasty. Saving missions for the weekly challenge reset? Fair enough. Just, like, obviously make sure you aren't missing out on new missions entering that spot by, like, leaving them there. That would be my biggest recommendation on that one. We'll try again with this. Like, we kind of got owned by a Cosmo there, to be completely honest, so... Ugh. This hand is pretty reasonable, especially if we're going to draw Swarm. Would be a bit aggressive to snap on 1, but I am kind of tempted. Alrighty, Colleen Wing into Mojo World seems pretty great. Just saving just the 4? Yep, fair enough. We have many, many swarms. We have drawn a blade. So do we just go all in on discarding swarms? I don't think we do in this hand. We do have some great payoffs. So I think what I'm going to do here is look to go off with Lockjaw next turn, because I can guarantee a hit on Apocalypse here with Lady Sif as well. So we'll do that. Load into Mojo World. Try and stay out of Lekuguela for a hot second. Don't want to put rocks in my deck to pull out with Lockjaw. That would suck. Alright, so let's fire the cannon. So we're definitely doing this. The question is how many swarms we commit. I think the answer is 1. Because it means that our discard has a 66% chance to hit something we want to hit. And if we do hit it with Blade, then there's more swarms for us to discard to something that we pull out of the deck with Swarm. So I'm going to do that. 1 swarm is the answer, I think. Blade hits a swarm. Bullseye. Flips Blade into Moon Knight, which hits a swarm. Look at us doing the thing. I would like to make many swarms, please. Opponent also loses their Carnage. Swarm gets cashed in for a Blade, which hits a swarm. Well, hey, more swarms. Ended in a tie. What the hell? That's so hard to do. I'll have to check that one out, Midget. That's pretty sick. Alright, well, I'm just going to Hellcow, and I think that's mostly fine. I would like to draw a card, though. Is the Swarm going into Leku, or is it going into New York? I think it's going into New York with the hope that we pull Dracula. I'm going to snap here, though. I think I'm in good shape. Hellcow eats Swordmaster, okay. And eats Apocalypse, sure. The Swarm gets cashed in. For Dracula, perfect, okay. Alright, I think we're in great shape here. So, let's just go Swarm, 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 Swarm. And then the question is whether we want 16 over here or if we want 16 over here. And I'm fairly sure we want 16 in New York. So I'm going to hold the... Well, we actually want 20 in New York, right? So we're going to hold the Apocalypse in our hand. This deck is so sweet. When it does the thing with Lockjaw, you just feel like you're cheating. It's very, very cool. Brand new sub coming in from Johan. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate the subscription. Guess I'll use this opportunity to plug it as well. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. There's another one. Alan, thank you very much for the sub, my friend. Welcome on in. We appreciate your support and your love over here at Marvel Snap Zone. Hopefully we can keep doing this more in the future if it's received well. Opponent will Scarlet Witch the Mojo World. Sure. And Chavez on the right. Yeah, that was pretty much a clean sweep. Look at that. Very strong showing for Lockjaw Jacula there. Missing Lockjaw. Ooh. You can definitely play discard without Lockjaw, but I think it's hard to like have the same level of success. It feels like it's a really big part of this version of the deck. Okay, not the best opening hand. Doesn't matter. Our entire deck is gone, and it's filled with crap. I love District X, and by that I mean... I'm not going to say that on a family-friendly stream. Ugh. Okay, well, this game is largely going to be a pile of not discard. I'm scared to Lockjaw this game, because I have no idea what the hell is in my deck. That being said, no plays available to us so far. Opponent will play an armor. Sure. Murder World, not one we're eager in. What's my Discord? You can find me easily by looking for HowlingMines in the Marvel Snap Zone Discord. You find me under the Team Marvel Snap Zone banner. I think it's HowlingMines 85473. Can't remember the number off the top of my head. I am HowlingMines everywhere, but the easiest way to find me is in the Snap Zone Discord server. I could Lockjaw Yellow Jacket. It's okay. Everyone can find me on Discord anyway. Like, I'm literally in the server as, like, you know, part of the team, so... Love the content, first time watching live. First time we've ever been live, so welcome on in, Coach. Pleasure to have you here. Yeah, go on, let's high roll. Let's show our opponent that our deck is filled with better crap than theirs. Captain America, sure. Lockjaw, show me the goods. It could be anything, it could even be a boat. That would have been really good if we had discarded anything. Well, okay. Decent amount of stats, at least. I kind of want a Spider-Man on turn 5 onto one of the locations my opponent doesn't play onto. Am I playing Omega Red? Yeah, happy to see you, bud. This is our first time doing this, and hopefully if it's received well, we'll keep doing it. Everyone ignored Nightblock, though. I set it up earlier and I broke it, so I'll have to fix it before next time. There are definitely a few sour locations. I can't argue with that. I think I'm mostly fine playing Omega Red here, seeing what transpires. Bit unfortunate opponent played into the same location as us there, but that's fine. Well, we know this Spider-Man is now going to be really solid over here because they can't, well, they shouldn't play into Murder World this turn. So I'm actually going to take a cheeky snap and see if our opponent wants to carry on playing for a little bit more in the way of cubes. Chat, actually, I want to know, what are your least favorite locations? What do you hate seeing the most? What locations make you, like, just quit playing for the day? I'm curious. Opponent plays into District X this time around. Cosmo, sure. Yeah, King, for sure. I'm leveling up some other accounts myself, so I know the pain. Alright, well, 1 point should be enough in Murder World at this point. And the largest amount of stats we can... And opponent doesn't want anything to do with this. Totally reasonable. Means we get our 2 cubes, though. Kit Power, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Welcome on in. The 5 rocks. Oh, yeah. Subterranea sucks. It is, like, easily one of my least favorites as well. There you go. Yeah, Subterranea. The thing that makes squirrels. Yeah. Central Park is not great either. Yeah, Weird World, right? Draw from your opponent's deck. It's definitely up there for me as well. Alrighty, pretty reasonable start here. Looking to not discard early, to be honest, because we have some stuff we don't want to lose. All of them make your way into their hand? Oh, woof. Woof. Hopefully that's not a common occurrence. Alright, so I'm not playing out Swarm here basically ever. Seems extremely counterproductive. Crimson Cosmos, sure. 5 rocks is a lot, yeah. It can definitely just brick off entire games. whether you like it or not. Do I risk losing Dracula here? Probably not. Think I just Lockjaw. +1 on turn 5. Kills your Professor X every time. I mean, Professor X is a card that people are either going to complain about or not complain about at all, depending on whether they're the one using it. So, makes a lot of sense. Alright, Dracula is going into Crimson Cosmos. Then we're going to just try and unload the gun on turn 5 and 6. Yeah, Laku Guela, the one that you have to play. If you play into, you make rocks. It turns out people just fucking hate rocks. One of my least favourite locations, anything to do with rocks. Understandable. Insta snap for Patriot. Yeah, Patriot's obviously got some leeway there. Alright, time to unload the clip, and hopefully this is good enough. I want to discard as much as possible, so I'm going with Hellcow Blade. And I'm going to try and transform them both. Let's disco. Any zone that's a +5 energy, or isn't the +5 energy. I don't know, there's plenty of locations I actually quite like. I think Death's Domain was a really cool one to have as a hot location, because there's tons of interesting counterplay to that one. Bar with No Name, Luke's Bar, a couple of alcoholic establishments that aren't particular favourites for people. I don't mind Bar with No Name. I think there's some interesting counterplay to that one. Same with Luke's Bar, but I can understand why they would be frustrating. Okay, Hellcow going to give me some swarms. Good stuff. Into Colleen Wing, which is going to give me some more swarms. Oh, this is so cool. Blade, discard a swarm, which is going to give me some more swarms. You start seeing how this works. Blade gets spun up into Morbius, who is huge, by the way. This deck is so cool. And assuming we draw anything that costs less than 3 here, we don't. We do draw Travis, obviously, but we can mostly empty the clip in this spot. So we are just going to go thunkity, 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 thunkity. Thunk? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do we go 15 mid, or do we try and assist? Assist Namor. I think we assist Namor, right? Opponent snaps. Alright, well, in which case I think I'm doing this. Alright, let's disco. Bar Sinister event was sweet? Yeah, for sure. I actually quite enjoy Bar Sinister too. Mansion X always gives an insane card. Oh, yeah, it works well for your opponent now. Yeah, me too. Death's Domain is a super sweet one. I think there's just a lot of interesting counterplay to it. Look at that. Dracula carrying us once more, picking up 4 cubes. Very smooth. This one's also been fantastic. Been enjoying this deck a lot so far. I'll take a moment to throw in a quick plug, folks. Don't worry, I won't do this more than once or twice during the night. Oh, imagine getting Swarm ripped out of our hand here. That sucks. Hello, opponent. How we doing? If you haven't noticed, we have recently turned on memberships for the channel now that we're looking to do more consistent live stream content over here. We do have a handful of emotes to showcase that are pretty cool, and hopefully you would enjoy using yourself, that are going in chat for you now. So if you fancy supporting what we're doing over here at Marvel Snap Zone, maybe consider becoming a member and grabbing yourself a nice little badge and some emotes to use in chat. That would be quite sweet. Appreciate all the love so far. It's been very, very nice of you. Is this my main account? It is Snap Hero. Yeah, this is the one that I was playing with during beta. Essentially, it kind of gets used for content now and not a lot else because it has every card. So I spend most of my casual time playing on accounts that still need to climb because I'm trying to get a couple ready for content. So this one now gets used for all the content, but I don't really play on it otherwise. So we get an extra energy, which means we can actually get this Dracula down safely here, which is pretty sweet. I'm so miffed about losing this Swarm, dude. Pretty happy to stick this in Sakaar so I can keep an area free for Lockjaw. Any updates about the deck tracker? Okay, so I'm actually using it right now. It's really that simple. At the moment, we are just stress testing stuff. The first couple of tests we did weren't great. There was definitely some work to be done. I think I'm fine cashing out Blade here, even though I have nothing I'm happy to discard. So I'm using it right now as we stream, and if everything goes to plan, and everything is just like fine and dandy and it works, it should be with you very, very soon. We just need some live environment tests like this one right now to make sure that it's fine for everyone to use. So it will not be long. We are just polishing off the details to make sure that it does all the things we claim it does when we release it to you. Hey Jin, happy to see you too. Hopefully all is well. This kind of... Oh. I was about to say this kind of blows, but my opponent agrees and would like to leave. Okay. Up we go. This one has been super, super sweet. Probably going to take another handful of games with Dracula discard, then I'll move on to a third thing. I think I want to play some Wong Reveal. We had some people asking for Wong Reveal in the chat earlier on, so that probably comes next. I remember the name, Jin. I try and remember everyone's names from MTG. It's good to be back. It's great to be back making content again. I've missed it. I have definitely missed it. And everyone's been so kind and supportive, like with me trying to do this for Marvel Snap Zone, like as consistently as I can. So I really appreciate it. You're welcome, Remy. Super welcome for the answer. Just happy to help, honestly. Not playing out Colleen here. There's nothing we want to discard with it, so we'll just hold on to it for now. Opponent plays out their Swarm. That's kind of curious. Why would you do that? Happy to play out Lockjaw, I think, here. Maybe I shouldn't. I'm worried about this transforming into another copy of Sanctum Sanctorium, so maybe I should just play stats out here. Alright. Oh, this is rough. I guess I play Morbius instead, right? This is safer than losing Dracula, but it also means if this turns into a Sanctum Sanctorium, I can add stats and actually contest the middle here. Does it turn into a Sanctum? It does not. Okay. Well, just going to play Dracula out into Atlantis then. And then look to shred our hand up on turn 5. Just got Wong, was super excited, but got to learn to protect it more. It's a difficult one. Wong is obviously a known quantity right now. So it makes sense that people have got a target on its back. How does one discard a card? Yeah, so anything that basically says, like, discard on it. So Colleen Wing here says discard the lowest cost in your hand. Lady Sif is the highest cost. Moon Knight says discard a card for both players. So you're looking for the word discard. Alright, so let's rip our hand to bits here to turn this Morbius quite large. Pretty sure the best way of doing that is just going to be Swordmaster Colleen Wing. Opponent snaps. I don't think I need to run. So I'm going to stick around for a cube for now. Opponent with Gambit. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. That one might be beatable, but if it had hit the Morbius, we were in a lot of trouble. This Apocalypse is large and in charge. Might be retreating on this one, unfortunately. It's a 16 power Apocalypse, I think. So if it comes down here, and we have 24 power, the gap is 14, so we need to get 24 power into Atlantis? Yeah, no chance. Alright, away we go. No dice that time around. Opponent out discarding us, using that Gambit to put our Dracula firmly in the bin. Am I using the Steam client or an Android emulator? I'm using the Steam client. It is cut up, don't get me wrong. I had to do a lot of work trimming and, you know, cropping and stuff to make some kind of decent overlay to work with. But I am using it, so it does run. It's perfectly playable. Alright, pretty easy stuff here, I think. Let's go Morbius with the intention of going like Lockjaw into Colleen Wing to start doing the stuff. Instead of Mysterio and Rescue. So I would recommend probably playing Bishop over Rescue. Maybe Jessica Jones over Rescue. Both of those would be reasonable decisions in my opinion. Mysterio's a little bit harder. I would be looking for a 2-drop that offers you a lot of stats. So maybe something like Mojo if you've got it. Yeah, maybe something like that. Well, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'd have to think of some more 2-drops that offer a good amount of stats. But that's kind of where I'd be looking if you were looking to replace Mysterio. Alrighty, so Lockjaw it is here. Partner with the Electro. Okay, so ramping into some big scary stuff. Alrighty, so I can just play out Dracula here before I go nuts. That's probably pretty good. Let's do that. Alright, turn 5, we're just going to let rip and try and discard as much as we can. Oh, opponent's Hobgoblin does kind of fill up some space. No worries, Dominic. Happy to help. Alright, so we're going to go Colleen, Lady Sif, I think. Cool. Might switch to Steam and uninstall from your phone because the game's too addictive. I know the feeling. It is currently installed on my phone, but it probably shouldn't be. It does often lead to me working from bed, which is not a good arrangement. Alright, no luck on hitting the Swarm, unfortunately, which we were kind of hoping to do here, but Colleen Wing will take care of that for us. Perfect. Alright, so we can empty the clip here as well on the final turn of the game. We do have to risk hitting Moon Knight. No, we don't, because we can just play Hellcow, right? Never mind. Opponent doesn't want any part of it anyway. But yeah, the plan here on this final turn of the game here, we play out Hellcow, Swarm, Swarm. And then Dracula is always Apocalypse, and we have a huge Hell's Kitchen, a huge Hell's Kitchen. Would be pretty solid all round. This deck's been great. Going to take one final one with this, I think. One final game with Lockjaw Dracula, and then we're going to move on to another option. Probably Wong Reveal. I think we'll play that next. Thank you everyone who's been hanging out tonight, I appreciate it. Obviously a brand new thing for us over here in terms of live stream content, so I'm hoping you're enjoying the show. If you are, do let me know. And if you've got improvements, I'm also open to feedback. Stefano, thank you for the brand new subscription, my friend. Really appreciate that. Sadly, no way of using this extra energy this turn. Brand new sub coming in once again. Remy, thank you very much, my friend. Welcome to the channel. Personally, you enjoy playing a control style of deck, so you make silly mistakes. Well, hopefully I can help you out with that in some capacity. Pioa, thank you very much for the sub as well. Welcome to the channel. Unlock the hood? Oh yeah, hood's a good hit. Well done. It's not working from bed? Yeah, of course. Not everyone can call Marble Snap work like myself, so totally understandable. The hood's a great hit. Bed is warm. Outside is not warm. Totally understandable. Alright, let's get this Lockjaw down so we can start flipping things in and out of our deck. We do have Apocalypse as a payoff, so I think we can pretty so. Okay, well, Dracula, get nice and safe somewhere first too. Just pulled Magneto. That's a good hit. Magneto's a very, very solid card, sees plenty of play. Enjoy it, Murray. Opponent will Scarlet Witch into Sakaar, which will flip in a Moon Knight. Okay. Goodbye, Apocalypse. Boomf. Mysterio yesterday. Wow, someone is running hot on pull 3. My opponent puts a Hulk into play. That feels like it's probably unfair and somewhat cheating. Oh well. However, our turn should be pretty good here if we Lady Sif Morbius and start shredding away. So we eat Apocalypse, Lady Sif goes back into the deck, pulls out something else. This deck's really sweet, man. Pulls out Swarm. Okay, that's a bit below average, but that's fine. Chavez comes to hand, so we are just going to keep the 2 6-drops in hand. Oh, well, we can get rid of Chavez too. This is perfect. Going to snap. And this should be good, I think. Thoughts on Cerebro? It feels like there should be a monster deck to build around, but you're not seeing it. So I actually uploaded a deck highlight on the YouTube channel yesterday for a Cerebro deck built around 2-power Cerebro. From a user that made Infinite with that deck, hiding Cerebro behind Invisible Woman. It was really cool, but it definitely felt like it struggled with location variance. And that's kind of the biggest problem, I think, for me with Cerebro. There's a lot of locations that just get to you. You want to unlock Magneto, not sure if you can use it well, you just want it... Yeah, I mean, favourite characters are definitely worth it for sure. Wow, how did I miss? I missed on the America Chavez discard. Come on, please, something. Lady Sif? Okay, thank you, good lord. Oh, I thought I was in trouble there. Thank you for the brand new subs, folks. Welcome on in, Murray, as well. Happy to have you. Is it a bug that Hellcow can't discard Apocalypse twice? I don't think so. I think that works the way that it should. Hey, Lafayette, welcome on in. Thank you for the sub, my friend. Glad you're enjoying the show tonight. Welcome on in. Alright. I promised I would switch decks, so I will. Okay, we're going to look at this one together, break down some of the things for people that might be joining us real quick. I won't keep playing this one, even though I really, really want to. It is a lot of fun. If you just joined me and you missed this one, don't worry, the VOD will be available, you can check it out. But Lockjaw Dracula continues to be just one of the best decks in the game. I believe, spoiler alert, this is in Tier 2 tomorrow on our tier list. And it just continues to be super, super powerful. There's some great synergies here, and it's just a blast to play. I highly recommend trying out if you haven't done so already. Am I going to play Spectrum Destroyer? I can definitely see myself playing that after Wong Reveal. If you're particularly after seeing some Destroyer gameplay, that might be something we can do. It is on the tier list this week, after all. Just got Mystique at CL838. Nice. Whoa. Running good, getting Patriot as well. Very nice. Very, very nice. Enjoy. Yeah, this one's sweet, man. If you've got all the cards for Lockjaw Dracula, highly recommend it. Lockjaw is such an interesting but crucial piece of this puzzle that really makes Discard like thrive and shine right now. I'm a really, really big fan. Spoilers! Spoilers! Yeah, I'm giving away a little bit by playing decks on stream today, but that's kind of the point, right? The article will be live tomorrow, though, so if you're interested in the full tier list, don't panic. I'm doing a video for that, and the article goes up tomorrow as well. Moving on, we were asked politely earlier on for some Wong reveal, so I will do some Wong reveal for you as well. So if you are not familiar with this deck, I'm just grabbing a screenshot to update for the gameplay scene, so bear with me a hot second. Unsurprisingly, this one, based around Wong. Wong is a pull 2 card, that, well, pull 3 cards, sorry, pull 2. Can you imagine? Oh, we can only wish. Wong is a pull 3 card, unfortunately, for everyone who's still waiting for him. But he is one of the best pull 3 cards and continues to be chased and coveted by many, many people. Now, why is that? Because every single on-reveal ability you play at a location he's at will indeed be able to happen twice. It's really strong stuff, and there's a whole shell based around it we'll go into here just after I answer some of the chat questions real quick. Climb with Spectrum Destroyer, it's a great deck for sure, yeah, 100%. Will you be able to play Lockjaw without Dracula? Yeah, I think so. The discard deck is definitely weaker, but you could also look at playing something like the Lockjaw Wong decks, for example, if you prefer. There's a few other places you can play it, but the deck is definitely weaker without Dracula, but probably playable without Dracula. Is it worth to run a suboptimal Hela deck? Yeah. Hela's still pretty strong, maybe. Electro in Ongoing Destroyer, It does let you go like Spectrum into Destroyer, maybe. Might be worth exploring that one. Still waiting? Hyperion, what are you waiting for? I might have lost you. In the shuffle. I apologise, I'm a bit rusty. Oh yeah, Wong deck based around Wong, shocking, I know. So the big hits in this deck, I guess, that have made this thing a haymaker at the moment that you really want to be paying attention to. Well, Black Panther, from the most recent Battle Pass, one that people have kind of questioned, but it turns out when you pair this card that doubles its power when you play it alongside Arnim Zola, who will destroy it and replay it at other locations, he gets quite large. When you throw Wong into that mix, you can end up with some exceptionally large Black Panthers, thanks to just doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. Still waiting on Wong? Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one that people are pretty desperate to get their hands on. Hopefully collector's tokens let you fix that before you know it. Some really powerful, cheap on-reveals here to get some early value from Wong as well. Good disruption in the form of Iceman. Iceman, a card that sees play in any of these decks, really. Ebony Maw is such a unique inclusion in these decks for the most part. You tend to find you play to 1 or 2 locations over the course of the game just because of the power of things like Doctor Doom, which means Ebony Maw is a pretty good way of locking up a location early. I think you can probably play a version of this deck without Doctor Doom or Arnim Zola, but probably not without both, honestly. Psylocke here, this card secretly very strong at ramping you into Wong on turn 3 or ramping you into Black Panther on turn 4, depending on what you need it to do. There's the kind of 3-cost duo of cards that are known for having good on-reveals. Ironheart here alongside Wolfsbane. 2 very powerful ways of utilizing Wong. Storm really strong in a deck that has access to things like Doctor Doom, for example, and can play to multiple locations with White Tiger very well. So it makes sense that we're playing this one to lock down a location as well, when we're not worried about playing to too many of them. White Tiger, pull 1 All-Starters, continues to shine in this deck. Great with Wong, great by itself alongside cards like Odin as well. Speaking of the devil, Odin at the top end as the last card in this one to trigger all those on-reveals all over again. If you don't have Psylocke, you can definitely play this deck without Psylocke. She's definitely an inclusion to help you accelerate to your end game. But you could try out something like Jubilee, for example, instead in a deck like this, and it would be a reasonable fit, I think. So, let us get some games in with Wong Reveal tonight, and see how this one feels in the current metagame. Yeah, Psylocke is a good-looking card. There's a lot of very sweet variants of Psylocke as well. Oh, my deck list has not updated. Why is that? Let's try that again. There it goes. Yeah, I love this Odin variant. I think it's gorgeous. All right, just gonna play out Iceman here in a location that is not the Dark Dimension, so I can tax my opponent's hand. Yeah, my Odin is one of my favourites, actually. I think it's a very nice variant. I actually have Odin split like a couple of times, but I didn't want to not use this one, so it's here. Okay, Ebony Maw pretty reasonable here if we want to play it off into the Dark Dimension, or we can choose to leave it stranded in our hand to ramp out Wong. I think I would rather do this. And keep Ebony Maw hidden away for later. We find Doom. Okay. So I kind of want to keep an area free, but I can't do that into Expansion, unfortunately. Those are not the best hits, Raven, I'll be honest. If you can only get Silver Surfer in December or Zabu in January, what would I get? That's tough. Thankfully, I can get both, but I think Silver Surfer, honestly, mostly from a bias for the character. I really like Silver Surfer as a character. Everything except Wong, oof. Oof. That's a pretty rough way to go. I think I'm actually holding this Psylocke, you know. I think it might be better alongside Wong in the future, or I want to keep space available for what we're up. Oh, wow, okay. Magic changes everything. We have a turn 7 this game. Alright. Spectrum Destroyer after? Yeah, Jin, no worries. I think a few people have asked for ongoing Destroyer after this, so I'm pretty happy. We'll probably give this one about half an hour or so, maybe a little bit longer, and then we'll switch on to Destroyer, because it definitely seems to be the most wanted deck afterwards. So where do we play this Wong? Probably just into Stark Tower, right? We're probably not going to have a good Zola this game, unfortunately. Just because of X-Mansion. I don't really want to Zola Ebony Maw. Maybe that comes up, but I would be shocked. If you play Zola into Wong and Zola copies Wong, will Zola proc again? I'm not sure how that would function. I'm not sure I understand the question. Maybe I'm missing something. Yeah, Storm onto Limbo is definitely an interesting thought process here. Because we have a guaranteed Doctor Doom. Yeah, let's go. Let's, oh, there's a Sandman in play, right? Damn. I was going to get sneaky with the Psylocke too. But this just has to be correct, right? We take Limbo away and then Doom in Stark Tower. Punnel Arrow, sure. For Spike players, is there anything to do with gold other than buy additional missions? Honestly, at the moment, I think we're good here, by the way, so I am going to snap. At the moment, not really. I buy variants for the most part, if I'm honest. Now that I've got a complete collection, I use most of my free gold. Opponent snaps back. Alright, let's see. I use most of my gold for variants at this point. There's not an awful lot else for me to do with it. Do I think that will change? Yeah. Probably. If they find that people aren't using their gold, then it wouldn't shock me. Oh, I understand the question now. Sorry, Daniel. Yes. If Zola hits Wong, Zola will go again, even if the Wong is not still there. That makes more sense. Opponent has the Hela, pulls up Magneto. Not good enough. 8 cubes! We will take our full 8 cubes. Thank you, Dr. Doomerus. Very nice. That was a pretty good showing of that deck, huh? Yes, that is correct. The Arnim will hit twice if you go Wong into Black Panther and Zola hits the Wong first. Even if it doesn't hit the Wong first, but obviously that's not the order you want to do it in. All good, my bad for not getting what you meant, my dude. But figured it out. Thank you for bearing with me. Alrighty, nothing to do for a while with a hand like this. Well, that's a bit sugar. Well, neither of us have an Arnim Zola anymore. Thank you, Sakar. What are the odds of that? It's almost the same rarity, too. That's crazy. Oh, wow. Okay, Sanctum Sanctorium is pretty crap, given that we just drew Ebony Maw. So I think I'm more mid, with the intention of starting to stack up Westview. So the Tigers and Doom can win Sanctum Sanctorium. I think that's the plan. Playing with the Psylocke. Looks like we're playing a mirror match here. Same deck. Sorry, that one got me. That was really funny. That is about the worst possible thing to have appeared on this. We are in trouble. So I have to get to 6 early, right? I can still White Tiger on 5, but there's no guarantee that gets into Sanctum Sanctorium. So I think I'm better off ramping to Dr. Doom. Mr. Whopper Jones, thank you for the brand new sub, my friend. Welcome on in to the channel. Pleasure to have you here. Doom? Question mark? Ilham, thank you very much for the subscription, my dude. Welcome to Marvel Snap Zone. Doom? Question mark. Opponent's Captain Marvel completely invalidates this as well, right? So I'm pretty sure when they snap, we're just going to run, because there is absolutely nothing to be done here. If they want to let me see another turn and see what's up before I run, that's fine. Yeah, so Captain Marvel just completely invalidates this. So we are going to retreat, as it can just hop on over into Sanctum Sanctorium and blow us out that way. So no dice for us on the Sakar flipping double Zola. Sure. Whoop. While I'm chilling here as well, folks, by all means, like, I guess one of the goals for this stream as well, not just so much for like providing gameplay, having a good time, chilling out, all the stuff you would expect from a stream, but we're also interested in like hearing feedback and suggestions and stuff, because I like to think we're doing a pretty good job over at Marvel Snap Zone. There's still some things to improve, still some things to make and change, you know, as there will be with a game that's just launched. But we're trying our best to make the site as good as we can for you. So if there are things that you want or things you want to see that aren't there, I would love to hear about it. Like, you can either, you know, at us in the Discord if you want to, and let us know down there, or you can just come and talk to me during the stream about what you want to see. Because we are looking for feedback. Well, I want to keep Kamatage around. The question is if I want my opponent to draw cards, or if I want to risk them filling up the raft. I think they can fill up the raft. Okoye is going to make their deck very juicy. We storm out Asgard. Deck's average cube gain. That's something that we will be able to do in the future. The tracker is obviously still in the work at the moment. And we intend on being able to have that information available because of the tracker. So fingers crossed that one's on the way. An API. That's a bit above my pay grade, unfortunately, but I can definitely ask. Okay, I think I just Ironheart into Kamatage here. Ugh. Electra's a bit annoying here. Am I the one handling the website? So, technically, no. I am very much the community manager and a content creator on behalf of the website. But I do not own it, and I do not work on the back end. That being said, most of our consumer feedback comes through me. I think White Tiger is better than Black Panther here because of the Odin. So we're going to do that. So I can be a good port of call for that in terms of whatever it is that your feedback might be. Tracker for iOS, it should be working everywhere. So again, I'm using it right now, literally at this moment in time, while we're on this stream, and as long as it works... In fact, I might even be able to show you a sneaky peek of what it looks like. There you go. No, I'm not going to go clicking buttons right now, but just to prove that it is there and it is working. It is currently behind the scenes, and as long as it does its job and works just fine during the stream, we should have it out and with you very, very shortly. Fingers crossed. Alright, Odin for the win, question mark? First time you got wonged was really unlucky. You were far ahead in 2 locations. Oh, yeah, that's pretty nasty, Calamari. Opponent Zola's their Okoye. And then their Ironheart. Interesting. Is this enough? This is a lot of stats from my opponent. This might not be enough. We do get a boatload of Tigers. Odin triggers again. Come on. Hell yeah. Wow, we're playing plenty of Wong reveal mirrors right now, and you can see an awful lot of what this is all about. Winning all 3 locations at the end there, courtesy of Odin into Kamatage. Very nice. You love to see it. This deck is one of my favorites to play. I got a sucker. I'm a bit of a sucker for on reveal stuff. I like the mechanic. Do I think Draft or Seal will ever come to Marvel Snap? So I know there's actually a content creator out there by the name of Stone Donkey, who you can check out if you like. I'm definitely playing Ebony Moore into Warrior Falls. That's really funny. Who currently has like a draft simulator for Marvel Snap, so you can draft with your friends and then like import it into the game if you wish. So there's definitely the capacity for it, and maybe even some demand for it. Do I know if that's something Second Dinner want to do? I don't know, unfortunately. So perhaps, I'm not sure it would interest me a massive amount, but evidently there is demand for it out there already, so... Psylocke, I'm going to play the Psylocke out here so it doesn't get shuffled back into the deck, and in case we draw specifically Wong. Otherwise, it's not going to do an awful lot for us. So if this dies or gets stuck in a random location, that's fine. Clearly you should play... Yeah, clearly, for sure. Hey, Randa, I appreciate the kind words, but this is not my game. As much as I wish I could take credit for creating Marvel Snap. I certainly can't. I am just a member of staff at the fan site Marvel Snap Zone, but I am glad you are enjoying the game. This is probably just going to be... Do we ever storm this out? I think I'm mostly fine with this shuffle, to be honest. My hand is a bit crap. Let's just add some juice to the two in play. It was interesting. I definitely recommend trying it out. Optimized a bit more for mobile, sure. Yeah, XMRC mobile is something we're working really hard on, honestly. The client we're using isn't the best for mobile sites. So we're doing our best, I promise, and as soon as we have like reasonable updates to let you know a bit more about how on God's green earth we intend on making that better, I certainly will. Oh, sure. I'm not sure about that, unfortunately. Pull one, guessing where to play Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, those are definitely the challenges, Danny, for sure. For sure. I'm glad you got a laugh out of it, Jin. Good stuff. You can't submit decks based on the cards you've unlocked. Interesting. That's really unfortunate. I know some people have spoke quite highly of that add-on, so hopefully that's not a long-term thing. Think I am just in the market of getting some juice on this Wolfsbane, then slamming Dr. Doom. See, I'm not confident enough to snap, though. Not yet. $12 in the middle. So we go to 30. Oh, okay, I think we're behind here. I'll risk it for a cube. Is Odin better here? Odin might be better here. Yeah, we just give up on Monster Metropolis, right? Hopefully Warrior Falls is good enough. Odin wins mid. Science. Okay, Odin does not win mid. Never mind. Opponent decided to play Apocalypse mid, and now I look very, very stupid. Wait. Oh! Oh! I assumed that Apocalypse was being discarded to Dracula. Did it matter? No! No, it didn't. Look at my 21 power Wolfsbane. Very, very nice. Did not think we were winning that one. Pleasantly surprised when we did. Bifrost. Bifrost, mostly irrelevant for this this deck, I think. We will Iceman into a nice safe place. Sting our opponent's hand just a little bit. Wong Reveal is a sweet one for sure. It's really fun. I love screwing around with Wong Reveal effects. Definitely one of my favorite things to do in Marvel Snap. No turn 2 play for here. Necrosha is a bit crap, honestly. Didn't really want to see that one. I kind of just want to Storm here. Just need Psylocke from this list. Yeah, she is very good for ramping into Wong on early. Mostly because he's the big payoff card. But you can definitely live without her. I'm glad you're enjoying it so much. Do we just Storm the Bifrost here? Follow it up with the Wolfsbane, try and guarantee the location. That seems like our best bet, so let's do that. And then hopefully we can like Black Panther into Odin to win another location. Domino. Interesting. Yep, gonna Wolfsbane on the side here, try and guarantee us flooding. Opponent chooses to give up flooding, makes a lot of sense. They have a Wong of their own. Okay, that's a little scary. Opponent snaps. Very confident. Okay. I think we still have a chance here, so... White Tiger. I'm guessing they have the Odin as well. Okay, so the Odin would put this up to... Thank you for the brand new sub, Oscar. Appreciate you. Welcome to the channel. The Odin would put this up to 14, which we have to beat. Our own Odin does that handily. Hicker, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. Doom, however, only puts us to 13. So if this is Odin, the 2 tigers fly into Flooded, we lose. But they do both have to land. Oh, but it triggers 4 times. Yeah, no, we have to run. I have to assume this is Odin on the right-hand side here, and we aren't beating that. Yeah, I mean, if I have, like, dog, they look very silly, but I think they have guessed I'm not a dog deck. Maybe. But I think we have to run, given they were confident enough to snap. What's the best anime or manga? Tough question, honestly. I've always had a soft spot for the stuff I grew up with, to be honest. I grew up on, like, your Yu-Gi-Ohs, your Full Metal Alchemists. So those kind of stand out to me. I'm not a massive anime guy these days. I kind of pick up a lot of it via osmosis. Okay, we find ourselves with a Wong. Would like to draw a nice early copy of Psylocke here. Opponent doubling up Nova. Sure. Well, we have nothing going on. Yes, indeed, Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah, we talked about Electro and Ongoing Destroyer briefly a little earlier on. I think, in theory, the idea is pretty solid. It does get you to Professor X a turn earlier. It possibly lets you go, like, Spectrum into Destroyer. I think the theory behind it is pretty reasonable, especially in times where something like Death's Domain is a hot location. You can just get rid of the body. I don't think it's in my current list, but I can definitely see it. It would make some sense and might very well be worth trying. It's a pretty good start for my opponent here while we're sitting here doing a whole lot of nothing. Oh, those are not the best hits so far, Hyperion. Hopefully they improve for you sooner rather than later. Right. Oh, Christ alive. This is really bad. I think what I'm going to do is stick a chunk of power here in the hub. Hopefully go, like, Wong into Black Panther or Doom or something in Sinister London here. I probably should have left when my opponent snapped, but... Wong in Sinister London is strong. We're going to get a lot of on-reveals. The question is, which ones do we use? Yeah, the Destroyer is a good hit early for sure, just because it kind of gives you a whole archetype by itself without trying too hard. Okay, Wong did not flip into the place we wanted it, ideally. Okay, Zola could be really strong if we make a copy of Panther in Hellfire Club. Okay, that seems like the play. So, Panther in Sinister London. Hopefully the copy flips into Hellfire. Oh, baby. I think that's good enough to snap back. This should be pretty nutty. No! Don't run. I wanted to do the thing. Oh, what a shame. Jerkez, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Appreciate you. Welcome on in to the channel. Yeah, the deck is crazy consistent. GG indeed. Well, getting a Nightcrawler here is actually pretty good. I think we are just going to try and load up a location with Ebony Maw on turn 2. Kind of cobbled some weird Lockjaw Electro deck together. Okay, fruity. That's an interesting little combination, actually, being able to push the Electro away. I wouldn't want to flip into it, though. Interesting. Well, this is actually a pretty good Ironheart start here, so let's just chunk up a location with Ebony Maw. Why didn't I play Zola on Sinister London? Because I thought the Sinister London was the location I was more likely to win. Also, I only have one space on the right? So I can't get both Wong and the Panther over to the right by making copies. There's no space for them. So I just want to guarantee that I make a Panther on the right as well, so I don't accidentally lose over there. Like, normally, you're right, you would definitely do both, but, like, the last thing you want is to, like, Zola, make a copy of Zola, have the Zola accidentally eat the Zola, like, you know, I don't know. But also, I think the space on the right was the main issue for me. This Iceman was disgusting, by the way, so no turn 3 play for us. And now we're about to lose our hand. What would I cut for Electro? Yeah, probably Cap or Fantastic. I think those are the two, like, pretty obvious removing, like, pieces. You're very much looking for, like, a 3-cost card with ongoing. So, I can definitely see Cap or Fantastic. Maybe Lizard. Lizard's a decent shout. Thank you, Snap Hero. I appreciate that. Yeah, folks, if you are enjoying the show and you haven't already, please do consider subbing or hitting that like button. In fact, the like button's really important. Like, really important, because it helps the algorithm show us to other people. So if you are enjoying, please do consider giving that a click. Thank you, Calamari. Happy to help, my friend. Do we just Doom here? Or do we Wong and then Doom later when we move Nightcrawler? That seems good. That seems good. Let's do that. Opponent Dooms now. Okay. So they have a copy of my Doom. That makes sense. So we can move Nightcrawler out and then Doom. Yeah, I think Cap would probably go before Mr. Fantastic for me as well, to be honest. But I think I'd be looking at one of those. You know. It should be good enough, I hope. Opponent agrees. I mean, to be fair, opponent's fair to run on this one. They know that I have Doom. Like, they copied it from my hand, so they know. Alright, going to take one final game with Wong Reveal here. See if it can't get us over to rank 56. And then we'll switch on to this ongoing Destroyer deck that chat has been asking to see some of. I will happily play it next. No early plays, unsurprisingly. Not too many of those. Iceman, don't hit the Wong! Oh, that's really bad news. We get another Wolfsbane. That's not massively helpful right now. Alright, well, Ebony Maw into Bugle is probably fine. I would rather guarantee it stays alive. I think it's a bit risky to throw it in the danger room. New York. Sure, sure, sure. So honestly, I think I'd play a Naked Wolfsbane out here. Just so that if I draw Odin, I have options. Like, Storm doesn't do me any good because I want to play Wong next turn. Actually, I can't play Wong next turn, so I guess I'm playing a Wolfsbane next turn. Maybe Storm is fine, actually, because I can Wolfsbane afterwards and look to go Wong Doom. So I should storm out the danger room. Let's do that. Oh, that's such a bad pun. Iced in the Wong. Talk about blue balls. Didn't think about it that way until you mentioned it. Thank you for the cold. Alright, let's just play a Wolfsbane over here, and then look to go Wong into Doom in London, basically. That is the plan. Opponent commits 0. Interesting. I wasn't expecting 0. Whoa. What are we zeroing? Normally you don't see Iceman Wolfsbane in decks with, like, Red Skull. I could go for Panther Zola. Panther Zola might be better than Doom. Because Doom makes 10 power, Panther makes 16. So this is better. I think I'm sticking around through a snap, but I'm probably not snapping back because I'm scared and confused. There is indeed a Red Skull. Okay. Well, we can beat that. Zola? Definitely a chance we should run here, just because of how big this Red Skull is. I don't think we ever snap back. Opponent could just beat us in Daily Bugle too easily, I think. Ah, for the content. It's more interesting this way. 8 cubes, please. It's the final game with this deck. We might as well. That's fine. What's the thing in Bugle? Okay! Alright! Get ruined! Nom! Black Panther looking incredible and scoring us that nice chunky 8 cubes. Nice snap called by KO Wong. Nicely done. Scores us a nice chunky 8 cubes on the last game with this deck. Can't argue with that. Well, well, well. What can I say about this one that hasn't been said already, to be completely honest? Unsurprisingly, Wong Reveal remains one of the top decks in Marble Snap. It is just very consistent. It has multiple different powerful game plans, which means you just very rarely have draws that don't do anything, which is exactly what you're looking for from a powerful deck to ladder with. This one's really sweet, and I think outside of the big like key pieces of top end, you can live without a lot of the other bits and pieces. The sad truth is, though, Wong is the killer for a lot of people. I think you just absolutely need it, and several other pull 3 cards to play this deck, so hopefully you have the ability to work towards it shortly if you are missing things for it. But if you do have Wong already, there are definitely ways you could play something with this when you don't have access to everything else at the moment. So definitely a very sweet one, but as promised, I will move on to Ongoing Destroyer coming up for us next. This has been a popular requested one in the chat. Bear with me 2 seconds, folks. Just grabbing a screenshot for the overlay to make sure that we're showing the correct deck when we go back into the game. Perfect. Okie dokie. So, if you're not familiar with this one, we are based around the card Destroyer. Now, Destroyer is a pull 3 card, once again, unfortunately for a number of folks, but thankfully, if you do enjoy this type of deck, it is basically the only pull 3 card you will find in the deck, which is perfect if you're looking for a way to port yourself into pull 3 as you move forward. It's pretty great at doing exactly that. However, this doesn't seem like a particularly good card if you just look at it on face value. Destroy all your other cards is not a good on reveal ability, so we're going to do our best to benefit from that and or turn it off as we go. So, our options for doing that, we have things like Armor here. Armor, of course, powerful anti-meta tool that's also going to stop our stuff being blown up by our own Destroyer. We've got Cosmo here. Cosmo will stop on-reveal abilities from happening at the location in which it is played, which is great if you're looking to turn that ability off. No Iron Man in this list? Nope, unfortunately not. We only ever really want to play Professor X on turn 5 in this deck where possible, in my opinion anyway. But there are definitely some room to change with this one. For example, I would personally prefer to have Daredevil in this list. I think Daredevil is very strong in the ongoing versions of this deck alongside Professor X. But this is the list that we're featuring on the tier list tomorrow, so I will not be making that change. I would rather play it as accurate to the tier list if possible. So yeah, Professor X, speaking of which, another way of stopping your stuff being destroyed. Lock down a location, stop it being removed, keep stuff safe underneath it when you eventually play your Destroyer to clean up shop. So what is the rest of this deck doing? Well, you might notice some of these key cards we were just talking about here are ongoing effects, so they are always active when they're in play. So we're looking to abuse that by also having access to Spectrum as another way of winning the game. Danny, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us tonight. So Spectrum going to give you plenty of options to boost up all your cards with additional stats should you not find your Destroyer or should you not be able to win the game by playing it on the final turn of the game. So the rest of the shell is very much filled out with... Yeah, okay, this version is definitely playing Mojo 2. But I don't think Mojo is in any way required. You could just play another cheap ongoing 2-cost card in that slot. It just happens to be one of the better ones in the opinion of many. But definitely for the most part, the rest of this deck is just good ongoing cards. You know, much what you'd expect in a Spectrum deck overall. Options instead of Mojo, literally anything that's a 2-cost card with ongoing would be a fine replacement. Goose comes to mind immediately, but I know that's pull 3 as well. Like, any cheap ongoing card is just fine. Literally completely fine. But yeah, ones that are included already. Ant-Man, obviously one of the best ongoing abilities out there. On a 1-cost card. You could even play something like Quinjet if you were desperate. Colossus, a card that plays very well with this deck in general, ongoing ability to stop itself being destroyed. Unsurprisingly, both of those are pretty relevant. Mr. Fantastic and Captain America are the two 3-drop cards that we see play in this version of the list. If you were around earlier, we noticed we were discussing maybe playing Electro over one of these, which is also an interesting thought process, truth be told. I look forward to seeing whether or not that one comes to fruition. But at the moment, we're just looking to add stats to locations overall by stacking them up with this 3-cost card. For the most part, you want to be playing to 2 locations with this deck to make the most of these cards, keep more stuff safe from Destroyer, and also make the most of the last card in this deck, Warpath. This is another one of my favourite variants that I own, the Luchador version of Warpath. Will get bonus of 4 power if any of your locations are empty, which of course is something you are looking to do with this deck, playing to only 2 locations to utilise it. Other versions of this deck also play cards like Hobgoblin, Green Goblin, to be able to keep lanes clear for Warpath and play into your opponent's board, so you can definitely explore some of those options too if you prefer. So I'm going to hop on over to some games with ongoing Destroyer, and we're going to see how this one treats us over the course of the evening. Not super familiar with this deck, it's not one that I've played a ton, so hopefully we do it some justice. Fingers crossed. Well, Raptors is not really what we're looking for, but we can just blow them up if required. I guess we're always playing mid because of Mr. Fantastic, so let's just get Ant-Man mid. Seems like a reasonable start to the game. Danger Room, not exactly what we were looking for. Armor fixes that quite nicely. So, Armor mid, we'll turn that right off. New York on the right, sure thing. Brand new sub coming in from Daniel. Thank you very much, my friend. Welcome to Marvel Snap Zone. Glad you're enjoying the show. So fantastic mid. So we haven't found Destroyer yet, but we have found ourselves a Spectrum that's going to be really, really solid as a backup. Opponent also finds our Spectrum with a Morph, but thankfully gains no bonuses from it. Okay. So we're going to play Warpath here on the left, and then we will look to play Professor X Spectrum, depending on what our opponent does, into one of these 2 locations. So I'm pretty sure Professor X now goes over here into Savage Lands to lock this up. Seems a bit dangerous to try and push it mid, but it is better. Oh, yeah, okay. This is fine. Let's do this. Do I think the Death Wave interaction should be adjusted? Opponent has Sarah too. Okay, well, I think we're good here off the back of Spectrum. So, I don't think we're good enough to snap, though, because this deck can obviously have some very silly final turns. I am sticking around, though. I think the interaction's fine, honestly. I think it's a very powerful piece of endgame that requires you to jump through some hoops to get there. I don't think it's particularly problematic. Opponent would like to run away. Makes an awful lot of sense. Man, I really need to fix that Nightbot. Don't worry, Stream 2, Nightbot will be fixed. We'll have it stop posting broken commands. I will indeed have that sorted before we go live next. Don't arm him into Taskmaster. Ooh, yeah, that's not great. Would not recommend. Alright, nice easy start for us here. Pretty easy to squeak in Ant-Man later. Let's just use our energy to get Colossus on the table. Opponent plays 2 1-cost cards. Blades away a Nightcrawler. Sure. And an Ant-Man of their own. Okie dokie. Oh, Weird World. Man, I hate Weird World. And Okoye sucks absolute balls when Weird World is on the table. That's absolutely terrible. One thing you don't like with YouTube streams is you can't keep the stream open to hear what's being said when you have to chat in WhatsApp. That does kind of suck. I wasn't aware of that. I'm not playing this Okoye. It's terrible. Yeah, that does kind of suck, honestly, yeah. This is literally my first time live on YouTube ever. I used to be a Twitch streamer, so I have familiarity over there, but this is literally the first time I've been live on YouTube, so I'm kind of figuring out the kinks myself. That Electra is surprisingly reasonable, but we'll save it for a little bit later to score one of these 1-drops. Just going to jam Cosmo into the big house, I think. Opponent has Mr. Fantastic. Sure, that's my Mr. Fantastic. Give it back. This is a very cool Lady Sif. There's a lot of very sweet variants from my opponent over there. Let's just play out Warpath. Opponent will play out My Armor. Oh, Weird World. Never change. Never change. We draw their Nakia. Wow, some really nice cards. Is Nakia good here? Nakia actually might be good here. I guess we use it to chuck stats on these two for the end of the game. Hopefully this Electra scores a kill on the Ant-Man. Does indeed hit the Ant-Man. Very nice. Okay. Oh, there was a Chavez in our opponent's deck. We weren't to know that. Opponent aggressively snaps. Interesting. I think we're okay through a snap. Just from 13 power here. Maybe we split the difference and play mid. Make our opponent have to win both. We can put 9 here and 5 mid. And make them have to play to every location to win. I think that's probably better. Okay, let's try this. They do just play Destroyer. Well, we beat Destroyer. By diversifying, look at that. Taking a second to stop and think about how we wanted to play around that. Scores us 4 cubes. Perfect. Exactly what you're looking for. I would like to do the Destroyer thing ourselves at some point here. Yeah, Okoye ended up actually doing some reasonable work there, truth be told, by the time that everything was said and done. The body was just good enough on that final turn. So no turn 1 play for us here, no Ant-Man to start. Professor X and Spectrum both decent finds. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Colossus mid seems reasonable because I can never lose it to Warrior Falls. And we can just punch our opponent's Nova here. Bonk. Get the hell out. This animation really needs to speed up. It is taking forever to resolve on the desktop client. I have no idea if this is the same on mobile, but Warrior Falls fights can be very, very slow. Captain America. Okay, pretty happy to play this out into the Mirror Dimension. Looking to Warpath into Mirror Dimension next turn. Folks, one final time, if you are jamming with me tonight, you've enjoyed the show, I ask of you two simple things that will cost you no money to help support us doing more of this in the future. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would love to see you back for more in the future and be able to share all this cool Marvel Snap Zone stuff with you. If you fancy doing a little bit more, however, you can, of course, join us as a member. That's also very, very possible. If you want to get yourself some sweet emotes and some sweet swag and help support what we're doing over here at Snap Zone. Last but not least, even if you don't want to do that, just chuck us a like, will you? Press the button. Turn on the thumb. It goes a real long way in helping us out, in pushing this to other people that might be interested in the content. So just like the stream for us. That would be great. How do I outplay this Daredevil? I really kind of can't. Professor X doesn't land anywhere very well. I think this is the best I can do, right? X into Warrior Falls, make sure nothing dies, look to Spectrum both lanes. I think that's the best I can do. Unless I draw my Destroyer, of course, in which case I can maybe do better. This stops me getting punked by a Professor X in Warrior Falls of my opponents, too. Because I can always Spectrum my stuff to be bigger. Opponent taking their time, don't know how to deal with this Professor X. Turns out it's 4 things. That is indeed many, many demons from the Moon Girl. That's a bit of a problem. Nice hanging out with you as well, Snap Hero. Pleasure to have you here. Hopefully we'll see you again soon in the future. That's a shame, because I now can't win a location by playing this Destroyer. Have a good one, bud. Yeah, opponent knows that this is over. We are going to run. Thank you, 8-Bit Benny. I appreciate that. Thank you for enjoying the show tonight. It's been a pleasure having you here. Rough one there. Opponent with showing you the power of Daredevil, honestly. Daredevil looking very, very sharp from our opponent, knowing where to play their demons to kind of circumvent Professor X. Really strong stuff. So far, we have failed to do the thing, which is a bit disappointing. Hopefully we can change that. Yeah, that was a really cool Quinjet variant from our opponent, actually. It's not one that I'd seen before, either. Right, well, this is fine. We just, like, stack up some bodies. Not this turn, obviously. But stack up some bodies in Elysium. Stick a Warpath alongside it. Hope to find an Armor or a Cosmo somewhere in the middle. We get a random Sabretooth. Mr. Fantastic is going in the middle. And we will try and play for the Hub and Elysium. So very much looking for Armor or Professor X or any of the above, really. Cosmo counts too. To be able to make this Destroyer work as best it could. Colossus is such a well-balanced car, with Destroyer and the locations that cause negative effects. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I'd call him one of the best 2-drops in the game, but he's solid. If what you're looking for is a card that is going to always be good and never be bad, like, he's one of the best examples of that, for sure. Captain America. Well, I'm going to stack Warpath in the middle here, because I intend on protecting the middle location with whatever effect we draw in an ideal world. Sabretooth Destroyer is unfortunately kind of meh, because for the most part, you don't normally get to replay the Sabretooth again afterwards. Obviously, with the Elysium out, maybe we do, but at the moment, I just really need to draw a way of keeping my stuff safe. Excuse me, as so far, we have failed to do that. So it's getting a bit later by me. Let's see if I can juice my lights up just a bit to brighten my face up. Should do the job. Green Goblin over into Icebox is really rude. We draw Spectrum. Where are all our... In this specific scenario, sure. Yeah. Where are all our protection effects? What the hell happened? Thank you very much for the sub there, Alex. Appreciate you. Welcome on into Marvel Snap Zone. Pleasure to have you here tonight. I think we are just playing out stuff. Maybe Spectrum has to be good enough if we can't find a way of turning off Destroyer here. Oh my god. Ugh. Enchantress is also exceptionally rude. Professor X. Okay. Do we take the risk that they don't play mid? That is quite the risk. I think what I'm actually going to do is X on the left, and then look to Destroyer in the Icebox. But opponent's probably going to kill Bucky here. This is really rough. I think I'm going for this line. Because we reveal first. Oh, God. Hobgoblin's not moving, buddy. Hobgoblin's not moving. Alright, let's go for it. Let's see if we can't destroy armor. And maybe we just win everything. That is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, opponent's got some interesting stuff going on for sure. Enchantress, Hobgoblin. Sweet game for sure. Let's see if they stick around. I'm curious if they think they can win this still. Oh, did I play that in the wrong order? Oh, no. Thankfully, we never have to find out. We never have to know if I played those cards in the wrong order. Unimportant. Armor was totally better played first. I'm just streaming, which makes me actively terrible at Marvel Snap. Chat just screaming, wrong order. It's like that meme of Walter White in the car. Just like... Howling Mines! Howling Mines, don't do it! Play the armor first! Howling Mines! That's what I feel like right now. Chat's just like... Stupid streamer. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Calamari. Yeah, I think we were probably fine, but that's not the point. Like... Okay, I think we're fine building armor mid here. We might want to keep Lizard out of the location Ant-Man is in. Because we expect our opponent to extend here, mostly because there's also a Sanctum Sanctorium, so, you know. Nice. Lizard fight in Sakaar. Both of us have a Lizard flipped over there. We will indeed jump Mr. Fantastic down in the middle. Really good here because it will indeed pump up Sanctum Sanctorium, which is what we're looking for. That being said, I think this might be a mirror match. We're not going to get to Professor X on curve because of Dream Dimension. So I'm going to pile Warpath into Sakaar and try and diversify a little bit here. Opponent with the Cosmo. Okay, that's fine. So Dream Dimension gonna jump Professor X up to 6, so none of that, but we do get to play ourselves Cap America mid, and then look to Spectrum this game. Are the deck lists updated tomorrow? They are, Carlos, yes. I'm currently playing the versions that you will see on the tier list tomorrow. Opponent's just done. Goodbye. No Spidey emotes? Not currently, no. I do think I can probably... No. So the problem is I need more members before I can make more emotes. We only get 4 while we have this number of members, so there will be some more on the way afterwards, though. But Carlos, yes, the tier list will update tomorrow. Video will go live. Article will go live. I'm just giving people a teaser of some of the decks on that tier list by playing them on stream tonight. So hopefully you're enjoying the show. Ant-Man into Atlantis does not seem like the best thing, so... Oh, you meant it for the Mirror Lizard. My bad, my bad, my bad. I let you down. I'm sorry. Oh. Speaking of letting myself down, casually playing into the Superflow. I should have Spidey emoted. I've let the entire chat down. Alright, well, pretty happy to start stacking up mid here, given that I'm already in the Superflow. Ebony Maw from the opponent. Okay. And armor. Well, thank you for the armor. We appreciate that. Mr. Fantastic mid is indeed fantastic. Electro would definitely be super interesting here. It's definitely worth thinking about. Omega Red. Okay. GG indeed, Raven. Was a sweet one. Alright, so we're going to stack ourselves some 4-cost cards. 4 cost of cards here. Into Washington, D.C. Brand new sub, Alexis. Welcome on into Marvel Snap Zone. Thank you for enjoying the show tonight. How are you? Yatu the Watcher. Interesting deck on the other side here. Opponent snaps. What on earth does that mean? Alright. This is a bit risky, but I'm going to Professor X mid, turn on my Ant-Man, and then if I'm wrong in the middle here, I can Spectrum to increase it. Okay, so we can still win this, right? Because Spectrum here should win. And they can't play anything mid. I think we're good. I'm going to snap back. Opponent plays a... Oh, wait. That might be too much. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, we were bound to lose an 8-cube game at some point tonight, but I guess we get beat by our opponent's Spectrum there, because Omega Red is... Whoops. Well, that's our first 8-cube loss in like 2.5 hours. I'm not going to beat myself up too much about that one, but I think I probably should have expected Spectrum there. It makes sense to be in my opponent's deck. Probably shouldn't have snapped back. I think we're fine to stay in and like play out for 4 cubes, but I probably don't need to snap. Elysium is pretty good with a hand like this. Let's just start loading up a location. Yeah, it's a good shout. Definitely a good shout. Jin, no, I still play Magic. To put it bluntly, I guess, for people that are chilling out with me tonight, that are fans of HowlingMines before I started working for Marvel Snap Zone. I actually stopped streaming Magic to focus on my job, at the LGS I was working at the time. And unfortunately for me, that kind of fell apart. And I'm not there anymore, so I now work for Marvel Snap Zone and the guys over at .gg, which means I get to be live again and make more content. The last card is Destroyer. It's in my hand right now. So, alas, poor Yorick, we do know this opponent well. Think I'm fine to set up Cosmo here. Opponent with the Killmonger to clear out their Nova. Interesting. I assume they might want to leave that in the Sanctum. They have Angel, that makes sense. So yeah, it's not that I like deliberately stopped. I just chose to prioritize other parts of my life, and unfortunately didn't get rewarded for doing so. But thankfully now, now get to do this with the guys over at Marvel Snap Zone instead. So the plan here feels like it should be pretty simple. Opponent flips Wolverine. Okay, sure. What nerfs do I think are on the horizon, if any? It's a good question. I think there probably will be some balance changes sooner rather than later. I think the big offenders are probably just Wong and Sarah, honestly. If we look at cards that are maybe problematic, Wong and Sarah kind of stand out to me as being the ones that need adjusting, perhaps. Do I stay in through a snap here? We get to Professor X into Death's Domain, and then Spectrum. So we definitely win Death's Domain. We don't win Sanctum Sanctorium. I think we're good. I think Spectrum adds enough juice here alongside Ant-Man to be able to win Elysium. Well, we're about... Oh, we're okay. Well, we're about to know for sure, I suppose. And the answer is no, unfortunately. So I believe we are losing a cube and running away. Because this ends up being, what, 5? This ends up being 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus 6, up to 15, plus 6, 21, 26? Is that math right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus 6 up to 15, 21 plus 6 to 26, 27? I think this is enough. No Professor X nerf? Maybe. I don't think... Hey, okay, we should have snapped. Definitely should have snapped. I was right. Got the math right. 26. That was hard. Thinking Wong. Yeah, Wong makes a lot of sense to me as well. Like, it definitely seems like the most oppressive card in terms that people are, like, talking about. Professor X doesn't feel like it's too good to me. It does feel like it's a bit cheesy, perhaps, but not too good. Started watching Moon Knight on Disney from playing Snap. Interesting. Made you more of a fan of the character. I love that. That's great. Been playing this ongoing Destroyer deck, and I can't see how it's tier 1. It's so fragile. So, RDU, for the most part, I think a lot of the deck's power comes from how linear it is, right? There are no bad locations for you. Your game plan is very proactive and very consistent. And I think when people are looking at laddering, those are qualities they're going to enjoy, whereas maybe this deck doesn't shine so well in like a tournament environment because it definitely can be pretty aggressively hated out. How would you nerf Wong? The next on reveal you play here triggers twice, maybe? Maybe you make it cost 5? Not sure. A few ways, I think. Let's start juicing up some stuff over in Murray Isle. Opponent with the Mysterio. Whew. So we have both of our top-end payoffs here. Very much looking for a thing to turn off Old Destroyer. Instead, we got a handful of crap. Thanks to the Triskelion. That's not great. Moon Knight feels unreasonably risky here. So we're actually just going to play this Black Cat out of our hand. And play Lizard over here. Maybe limit how many cards he can activate. Yeah, something like make him cost 1 more. Maybe it's just the next card. At least then if it's the next card, you can still do cool stuff with Doctor Doom. Or even like with Odin. Like, it's very hard, I think, to nerf that ability without just like changing fundamentally what the card is doing. Ugh. This is not great. Would I touch Cosmo? I think Cosmo's fine. Cosmo's probably a necessary evil. It's a very strong anti-meta tool, and I think it keeps a lot of very powerful cards in check. So, Cosmo I think is fine, personally. Do we ever risk this Moon Knight? I don't think we ever do. I think I'm just loading up Mojo over here. And this is probably a Spectrum game at this point. Because I can't successfully turn off Destroyer. Opponent with Ronan, okay. Well, Ronan's pretty good when your hand gets full of crap from the Destrelian. We draw Professor X. Okay. I'll take a risk. Does my opponent play into the Elysium? I'll fire them out there for you one more time, folks, in case you haven't seen them. There are some channel-exclusive emotes available if you consider becoming a member. They are available for you in the chat now. So if you like what you see, do consider supporting the channel. I really hope this isn't the real Mysterio, or this could get a little dodgy. But yeah, this is just going to be Spectrum here, I think. And I think we're good enough to snap here. We get to play the Colossus too, of course, if I'm actually looking at my hand. Wong 5 is a sensible nerf, but with Ironheart, etc., it might still be a difficult one. Yeah, maybe. I think 5 is probably a reasonable start, at least. Opponent snaps. Okay, I think we're good. Let's find out if I lose 8 more cubes. Yeah, I think Cosmo's fine. I agree mostly, Alex, to be honest. I don't think it's a problem. Maybe I'm wrong and we're not fine at all here, but I think we're okay. Enchantress is removing a heck of a lot of stats here. But we're still ahead. Ronan gets nerfed too. Yeah, okay, I mean... Perfect. Easy as that. Yeah, Energy Ramp would go a long way with Wong, I think. Nice, chunky 8 cubes for this deck from that one. Yeah, we need some counterplay. We definitely need some counterplay. I think Cosmo and Enchantress and even Rogue and stuff are like perfectly fine. Thank you again for all the likes and subscribers tonight. It's been super sweet. Been a pleasure to have you here. I'm glad you're enjoying our first live stream. Hopefully we get to do this some more in the near future. Better Wong nerf, as people don't suggest, is Wong turning the location into Karmatage. Ooh. Interesting. That feels like it might be more powerful in some ways. Because it's hard, like you can't just like Enchantress it off, for example. That's an interesting line of thought, but I don't know if it necessarily fixes the problem. Curious one though. I like where your head's at. So this Mojo's coming down. I think we probably want to guarantee 2 lanes and try not to play into Strange Academy if we can help it, so I'm going to stay out of it for now. We're actually playing against the infamous Thomas Hanks, so, you know, if we lose this one, it's understandable, I guess. Cosmo, unfortunately lost to Sokovia, means we have no play this turn, which is pretty crap. Yeah, would affect both sides of the board for sure. Which is definitely a huge downgrade. Giving your opponent access to Wong as well is not free, you know. Yeah, it would be an interesting, like, side change to what Wong does, I think. What are we doing here? We feel like we're very behind at the moment, and I don't think we can build a board that benefits from Spectrum particularly well. I think I'm going to Warpath. Maybe hope to find armor. If we don't find armor, I probably just jam Professor X and pray. I think that's where we are. Just kind of need to lock up this location, have Destroyer win the other one. Not sure Wong needs nerf. I don't know either, honestly. Opponent will Spider-Man, sure. I'm not sure he does. I'm really not sure he does need a nerf. But, I think it's a curious question. It's definitely one of the best cards in Pool 3. I think it's fair to say. Tom Hanks. Pog. I think 15 power here on the left should be good enough in most cases. Destroyer, question mark? Do we get 4 cubes for our trouble? Do I think Leader's absurd? No, Leader's pretty strong, but quite easy to counterplay, I find, just because it's so hard to make sure you have the correct spaces open on your locations to fill that your opponent's playing into too. Magneto no good. Destroyer bigger. 4 cubes. Very nice. Yeah, I think Wong is being kept in check right now. But I do understand the frustration of players when it just kind of goes to the races and does its thing. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, my plan of action is to take one more game with ongoing Destroyer. I'm then going to run for a really quick bathroom break that will take all of 2 minutes. And then I intend on playing one more deck tonight that we haven't played already. So if you have a favourite in the race that you expect to see on a tier list, things that are normally on our tier list, fan favourite archetypes I haven't played yet, let me know. I can be swayed. And we'll play one more deck tonight after this one. And after a quick bathroom break. So get your votes in. If you would like to see a particular deck, now is the time to let me know. Opponent gives us a lizard. That's actually not bad. And probably means we're playing some kind of mirror. Just going to load armor up here first then. Argumental's got a point. Maybe. Like, I see the rationale. There's definitely an argument for a nerf and an argument for no nerf. I think it's an interesting discussion, actually. So, 3 power, gonna stack up in the mirror dimension. Good chance this is a Spectrum game. Spectrum now costs 4, which is very funny. Hela deck? I don't think I have a Hela list built. Whatever we think is the best pool 2 deck. Okay. We could play like some Dino Control if people want me to. I might be able to go find the pool 2 list of Dino and play that. That might work. Negative. Some Control. I don't actually have a poll available at the moment, but I could do an actual poll. I'm just interested in what the community has to say. Hela. Definitely a variety wanted. Any improvements in move decks from tier 3 yet? I think move is still floating around on the tier list. I'd have to double check. It is evolving. It is definitely, some unique changes coming for move. So keep your eyes on that one, I guess. We played some Serra already tonight. Serra Miracle was the first deck we played this evening. So probably not going to go back to that one. Thor? I think Thor's fallen out of favour. I actually don't think Lock Thor is on the tier list tomorrow, if I remember correctly. So that one might be a stretch. Aero, we could play some Bayro. If people were interested in seeing Bayro. Maybe. Alright, let us load up on stuff. We just go... Stats? Question mark? We've played Lockjaw Dracula already. That one we've seen or play together. Discard Lockjaw, yeah. So Discard Lockjaw has been played already tonight. It will be up on the channel later. If you've missed it, the VOD will be available. Don't panic. Wow. Okay, double Spectrum. Too much for us to edge out here. We haven't played any Bayro. We could play Bayro. Sadly, I don't have a poll button available to me, which is super annoying. Start poll. Okay. I'm going to start a poll and then run to the bathroom. So, which deck next? Question mark. We got Bayro. We got Dino Pool 2. We got Hela. What else do we have asked for? Thor? Negative? Those are some things we had asked for. I actually did win there, didn't I? That's crazy. Okay, so we only get 4 options on the poll, unfortunately. So, gonna go with these 4. Bayro, Dino Pool 2, Hela, or Negative. Okay? So, poll is now going out. There you go. I'm gonna take a really quick bathroom break. Get voting in that poll. I'll see you in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Alright, I promised it would be quick. Let us take a look at this poll. Why am I streaming on YouTube instead of Twitch? Because the Marvel Snap Zone channel has a much bigger following over here. That is why. Okay, so negative in the lead right now. 30 votes so far. Bayro falling just behind. Gonna give it 30 seconds. If you've got a winner in the race, you want to see Bayro or negative, those are the two that are out there in the lead. Get the votes in. And I will play whichever one next that you choose to make me play. 20 or so seconds left. Get the votes in the poll. Let me know what you want to see as the final deck of the night. I'm curious. Negative just ahead right now. Bayro pretty close. Neck and neck, actually. 38% each. Tiebreaker vote's going to get it. Whichever person votes next. Thank you for the brand new sub. Thank you, Neutro. I appreciate you. They are 38% apiece. Anyone want to chuck a vote on there and swing the race? I'm glad you're enjoying it, Ryan. There we go. Race has been swung. Ending the poll. Bayro. Oh! It swung again at the last minute. Okay, alright. I'm not going to be unfair. We're going to play both. We're going to play both decks. I'll just play less games with them. So, Bayro first, 36%, negative second, okay? So I will play both, don't panic. Just going to do Bayro first. That was a close one. People in chat were down to a wire. Alright. Bayro first. Let me grab a lovely little screenshot to stick on the deck screen in a moment. I try my best, checkers. Thank you very much. I don't want anyone to be left sad or upset, so we'll play both. Right, that should be done and ready to go. I also love Democracy. Democracy is great. Okay, deck list. Let's take a look at this one. If you aren't familiar with Bayro, here you go. This is the deck that is commonly believed to be the best deck in Marvel Snap right now. So this is one that you're going to want to keep your eyes on if you're looking to compete with all those pull 3 cards. What is this all about? So we've got a Destroy package tucked in this deck for the most part. It's kind of a very well-known engine in Marvel Snap that is very, very strong. The Haymakers in that package, Nova, when you destroy it, are going to be able to give everything chunks of power. Bucky Barnes, of course, giving you a Winter Soldier once you kill it, a very large 6 power replacement for himself in the process. We've then got access to things like the Hood, which is a good card for us to destroy. We don't want it in play after it's done giving us a demon, which is basically perfect for what this deck is trying to achieve, a nice cheap body to kill. And then things like Yondu as well, which again, destroy a thing when they get played, which means you can rip a card away from your opponent's deck and destroy something in the process, which is great. And also is a good body to be eaten up by Carnage or Killmonger later on to continue increasing your death count. Now, why do you want to increase your death count? Well, the namesake is actually the reason for that. Death here is a 9-cost card that will reduce its cost by 1 for every single card you have destroyed this game. So it's going to get cheaper and cheaper, meaning you can often play it on the final turn of the game alongside something else. What a lot of people don't necessarily know is you can actually cheat even more on Death's mana cost thanks to Wave. Wave here reduces things to 4 next turn, or increases them to 4 if they happen to be below that. However, Death's reduction will stack on top of this. So if you've killed at least 2 things over the course of the game with your deck, your death will cost 2, your other card will cost 4, which means you get to play 2 cards on the final turn of the game, and your opponent gets to play 1, which is fantastic. In the Sarah deck, is Rescue mandatory? Definitely not. You could play something like Bishop or another good stat stick instead. Not 100% necessary by any stretch. So Wave here, of course, can also reduce death down to 0, which can make for some very, very silly turns on the final turn of the game. However, this deck has an incredible power play alongside death that previous versions of this deck didn't have. We have access to Aero, one of the namesake cards of the deck, that will move all enemy cards played this turn to the location it's played at. Why is that so strong? Well, we can force our opponent to play into a location that we're definitely winning, or we can force them to stay away from a location that we're not sure that we're winning. And when we can play this alongside death on the last turn of the game, and our opponent only gets to play one card, we have complete control over how that final turn of the game is going to go, allowing for some incredible cube gains. Magneto does a pretty decent impression in a pinch of Aero, will help you pull 3 and 4 cost cards away from those locations that you want to focus on in order to allow your opponent to lose the locations you want to target. The rest of this deck, very much about destroying things and making sure you can clean up the bodies you play out early, mostly in the form of Carnage, Killmonger, and Deathlock as ways to clear the board. That's what you're looking for with Bayro. Definitely one of the most popular decks in the game right now, and we will see if we have what it takes to hang with it and win some games in the process. So let's get ourselves dancing. No worries, Prywen. Enjoy it. It's a really fun deck. Highly recommend. Hey, Aldo. Welcome on in to Marvel Snap Zone tonight. How are you, my friend? It's good to see you. Alright, well, these Raptors are getting cleared up. Daniel, thank you for the brand new sub, my friend. Welcome to Marvel Snap Zone. Pleasure having you here tonight. So, I'm going to play out the Yondu early here. Would rather rip a card from my opponent's deck than expose Nova. Looking to draw Killmonger here pretty badly to clear out these Raptors. Why is it called Bayro? Well, Aero is the card, and she is Bay. Aero is Bay, and that's why she's named Bayro, which is the... so the creator of this deck, if you're not familiar, is actually one of our very own writers over at Marvel Snap Zone in KM Best, and that's the name that he gave this deck when he put it together. So that's the one that's stuck, and that's the one we're choosing to use. Killmonger here, a fantastic draw. Not sure if we want to extend Nova out here, because there won't be anything to get the bonus barring Killmonger. Don't have Magneto. What do we sub for them? You could maybe try playing a card like Polaris instead to fill that spot and still have another backup way of moving cards. Outside of that, maybe you just play a big chunky finisher like America Chavez that you can guarantee to play alongside Death on the final turn of the game. So I would probably go there. Yeah, really need to kill our Yondu here to get it out of the bar with no name. Oh, Clint is not good. Okay, yeah, we just clean this up, right? Killmonger away. Oh! Oh, that's so bad. Oh. That armor is backbreaking. I wanted space. How do you expect me to play all my cool stuff if I have no space? Alright, well, I guess the answer is still waving to Clint here. See what the opponent has to say. Warpath. Okay, I don't think we beat that. We're probably done here if my opponent snaps. Because I can still currently draw Magneto and pull Warpath, which can be very relevant. So that's going to be the plan. Let's load Death into the Savage Lands and draw Magneto. This is 4s, right? The hood would have worked too. The hood would have worked too. Opponent played into the bar. That's not good. We don't want that. Go away. Oh no! Get screwed, Spectrum. There's the power, ladies and gents. There is Bayro for you. Moving your opponent's stuff. He's really good. He's really, really good. What a sweet one. Ooh, mystery variant. Ooh. That's a nice cloak variant. Can't see it properly on screen, sadly, but... Yeah, that one was sweet. 40 chests, exactly. Alex gets it. Alright, nice and early. Yondu once again. Spike a card from our opponent's deck. Opponent's got an over. Eats a Shang-Chi, very nice. Oh, okay. Snapping to send a message. It's about asserting dominance, chat. You always have to snap on ego. You just have to send a message. Yes! We believe in snapping into ego, chat. What a stupid location. Me too, Profit Bomb. That would help me out a lot, as opposed to having to screenshot the bottom corner. Would go a long way. You can't argue with an ego game, can you? Let's go. Oh, opponent snaps immediately. Oh, that's a rough one, Duke. I don't think we're snapping back, but we'll stick around. Sorry, Hyperion. The bot is a little dodgy about spamming caps. I might have to knock that one down a bit and make sure that it isn't too bad. I guess I'll clarify for folks that are just turning up. This is literally the first time we've ever been live on YouTube here on Snapzone, so a few of the settings aren't in all the perfect places. There's a few broken Nightbot commands, and it keeps warning people for caps and stuff, so don't worry, I will work on it and update it for the future, but this is stream 1. I'm going to let myself off for a few things not being absolutely perfect. Okay, don't really want to burn Waves just yet. Don't really want to burn Killmonger either. Looking for a way to kill this Bucky Barnes. We're not going to find one though, because Weird World is probably going to stop that. I guess I play the real Mysterio. And we can make a duplicate Nightcrawler. Yeah, these locations are a bit crap. Opponent making many Angelas has Minova. Okay. We draw their Ironheart. That one's pretty good. 7 TV emotes would be awesome at some point. Okay, noted. I will see if I can fix that. I tried to make sure that we had a few available for members today before I went live. That was kind of the priority, but I can definitely enable 7 TV. Yeah, I'll make sure I do that before we come live again. No problem. I think I'm fine making another Ironheart here and just trying to get some stats on Nightcrawlers. This game is weird. Opponent has a Cap America, sure. And my copy of the Hood, sure. Weird World is always unpleasant. I think my opponent's going to try and destroy the Hood and Nova this turn, so I kind of want to Aero. But then I can't get in here and destroy any... I'm not going to be able to destroy these, I don't think. So we're going to move this away and look to Aero into Baxter Building. No worries, Hyperion. Happy to help. Well, apparently I was wrong. Opponent is playing into Baxter Building anyway. Not sure we are winning through Weird World here. Opponent's Ant-Man. This Mysterio is not a real Mysterio, unfortunately. Understood. There is some appropriate reactions. Brand new sub coming in. Nicola, thank you very much. Welcome to the channel. Think I'm retreating here, sadly. Weird World games, unsurprisingly, not the best for a deck that is hyper-synergistic. Thank you for the brand new sub. Up next, Damasta. Alright, well, the Hood is fine nice and early here. We already have the Killmonger, so not really worried about where we play this. And we're World 2, yeah, totally fair. Alright, need to make sure we Killmonger before we play out this demon. We had some fun with Agatha on the channel the other day, actually. Dexter made Infinite to this week. I think it's Ben Jim Jam, if I remember correctly. Made Infinite with Agatha, so we got to play it on that series, and it was a good fun one to try out. I think we might just Deathlock here, actually. Clear out this Hood. It's good on curve. Seems fine. Would like some one-cost cards from my opponent here to make this Killmonger stronger. Instead, we get what looks to be ongoing Destroyer. Okay. Okay, many rocks in the deck. Opponent snaps to the rocks. Interesting. I don't think we have to retreat just yet. I think we're still very in this game. Happy for Yondu to get killed by the Killmonger. That's no big deal. I don't think we play it just yet, though. Well, Yondu eats a rock, which is, of course, not what we were hoping for. We do draw a rock of our own. Perfect. Well, we can kill this at least, which is fine. So, let's go... Rock, Killmonger, Demon. I'm going to make a challenge for mid here, I think, due to the Lizard. It's unfortunate. Was a decent chance that happened, to be fair. So we do win this. That's fine. Because the Mysterio will reveal and win mid. So this is just us playing a 50-50 game of where does our opponent put the Destroyer. Oh. I'm going to guess they put it into Monster Metropolis. Let's go. No. Iron Man something else. Interesting. Armor. Do we beat that? We do beat that, right? Nice. Do you still have the Destroyer? That's the question. Because I can't pull anything out. Well, let's see. You had a question about Moon Dino and why it isn't considered good. So, Moon Dino is fine, right? Like, yeah, we were not beating this. That's fine. We get mid. There you go. No Spectrum means we are fine. Opponent chooses to destroy it, and we managed to get through it. Very nice. To answer your question about Moon Dino, the deck is fine. Again, like, Devil Dino is a good card. That was a nice way to win that, actually. We did lose to Spectrum. Alex is right, but we thankfully didn't have to worry about that. The problem is for Devil Dino is the card itself doesn't really play very well into what are the best decks in Snap right now. Like, five cost cards like Professor X for the Destroy decks, or something like Aero for decks like Bayro, are way more important to their archetypes, and those decks are kind of overperforming in comparison to the Dino decks right now, so that's kind of why you don't see it ranking as highly each week. Yeah, Mysterio, absolutely huge there. Pretty happy to lead on Yondu, I think. Mysterio doing work. Making that challenge for mid worthwhile. You love to see it. Savage Land's thankfully not a problem due to this Killmonger. Actually good for us because of the Killmonger. So, let's make a demon. Opponent will play the Okoye. This variant is so nice and I can't wait to have it. This is on the season pass, and I'm really looking forward to having it. Alrighty, Killmonger time. Let's just wipe the slate of all this nonsense. I don't really think it matters where we play this, to be honest. Not Savage Lands. I don't want to challenge the Okoye. Yeah, for sure. Plenty of Enchantress out there off the back of the Destroyer deck. Opponent playing Lockjaw here. Interesting. So going to try and save Wave for turn 5 here. So the plan is going to be Deathlock Demon. Opponent will Iceman Wave. That's thankfully okay. They do hit a Chavez, however. Into a Nightcrawler that's going back into their deck for an Odin. Okay. Might be kind of hard to win this Citadel. Okay, so not ideal, but we're still waving here for sure. So wave into Starlight Citadel, and then probably look to move stuff into New York to pick a fight, I think. I'm going to ask you folks one final time tonight before we start switching decks in a moment. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to see you here for more content in the near future. Do me a favor and hit that like button to help push us to more people. And thank you for those folks who have joined us as members and subscribers tonight. It means the world. And hopefully you're enjoying the show. Thank you for hanging out. Okay, let's hope we can steal this. Fingers crossed. Hoping my opponent tries to move pretty heavily into New York too. Hyperion definitely giving a bit of a more concise answer there than me. That also makes a lot more sense. Turn 6 is definitely kind of king right now. Yeah, he can move out Lockjaw. To be fair, if they snap, if opponent snaps, I'm out of here. If they don't snap, I'll play for the cube. Checkers, unfortunately, at the moment, it's mostly Sarah Negative. Mr. Negative by itself, not often doing enough. Yeah, this is not going to be enough. So yeah, mostly ends up being Sarah Negative these days. Okay, no dice on the last one there either. Tough luck for us. Some really awkward location variants over that small handful of games. But I did promise I would finish tonight with some negative, so we will do exactly that. So the last deck of this evening, we'll play some Sarah Negative for folks who wanted access to that. So let me flip on over to the deck list screen for you, so you can take a look at the deck while I grab a screenshot and do all that wonderful jazz. Make sure we have it on screen for you during the games as well. That is kind of important. So, if you are not familiar with this deck, I guess, first of all, where have you been? Have you been under some kind of rock? It is one of the oldest archetypes in Marvel Snap, kind of like history, to be honest. Based around this card here, primarily, Mr. Negative. Now, you might not believe me, but originally, this card was a 4-cost, 4-power unit that has been nerfed several times, because it continues to be insane. It swaps the power and cost of all the cards in your deck, which is a very powerful and very unique effect, and it's arguably one of my favourite things to do in Marvel Snap, so hopefully we get to do a fair bit of it tonight. How do we abuse this ability? Well, we have all kinds of cards like Iron Man here that become 0-cost 5-power cards with ridiculous effects. You have things like Blue Marvel, which when it costs 3 and has 5 power is much, much better than it was before. Magic here can sometimes even be played on turn 4 to buy you an extra turn to keep doing negative stuff as you go, which is very, very sweet. We also have some powerful cards lower down in the curve. Mystique becomes a 0-cost 3-power card that can copy Iron Man or Blue Marvel. We've got things like Bishop that become 1-cost cards and get very, very large as they go. And we've got my favourite variant that I own right now, Rogue as a tech card in this deck as well becomes a 1-cost 3-power card that can steal away all those powerful ongoing abilities we've seen so much of during tonight's stream. Speaking of powerful ongoing abilities, Serra is the other linchpin of this deck. We started the stream with her, we might as well end the stream with her as well. If you're looking for things to do that are very, very powerful on turn 6, Serra plus negative just lets you play cards for 0 and 1 that should never, ever cost that much mana, meaning that your opponent really can never guess what you're going to do on the final turns or where you're going to be putting stuff. So you have some of the nuttiest turn 6s possible. Ricardo, welcome on into the channel. Thank you for the fresh sub, my friend. I appreciate that. I love the Rogue variant. It's so, so nice. The rest of this deck, very much early power plays. Another brand new sub coming in. Duke, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Angela, Mojo, these are just great cards early in the game. Mr. Negative, good with negative, and great in the middle. Indeed, Checkers, it very much is. So looking forward to enjoying this one with you folks. Fingers crossed. This deck is very, very strong when it does its thing, but definitely prone to retreating when it doesn't draw the namesake cards. Is having a turn 7 good for most decks? It's good for decks that have powerful end games, like this one, for example, where you just want to keep playing cheap stuff over and over again, which is what makes Magic so powerful in a deck like this. So, enough waffle. Let us finish off this evening with some very, very sweet Serra negative games and show you a little bit about what this old relic can do. This deck, for the longest time, before we had several nerfs, was just the best deck in Marvel Snap by a lot, and it has been hit with the nerf bat, hit with the nerf bat, hit with the nerf bat, hit with the nerf bat again, and slowly but surely makes its way down the tier list to be much less powerful, because draws like this, harder to recover from now. You notice we have nothing really to do, and a lot of our best negative targets are already in our hand, which is never really what you're looking for. No turn 2 play either, unfortunately. Sunspot for the opponent, sure thing. No Psylocke on this list? No, the version that's currently on the tier list chooses to play as few cards as possible that aren't ridiculous with Mr. Negative. It's basically looking to high roll as much as it possibly can. Which means that unfortunately Psylocke doesn't really count as a high roll card. We kind of lift those slots for Mojo for that final turn of the game alongside Serra, where you just bust stats out of nowhere, and Angela for much the same reason. So Elysium here, making stuff cheaper, is pretty good for us. Opponent snaps, I do think we're sticking around. Not in the best of shapes though, so I am going to extend Bishop here. Very much hoping to draw Serra or Mr. Negative. Pretty desperate for one or the other here. Ironheart for the opponent. We are going to be losing the Raft. Arnim Zola counts as a high roll? It definitely could. Arnim Zola is the kind of card I could definitely see you playing in a deck like this. You would probably have to change some of the cards to be better targets. Like Iron Man's a good hit if you flipped it already, but you win a lot of games where you flip Iron Man anyway. The Arnim Zola problem really is like, what do you Zola? Is it just like Blue Marvel? That's like, okay. So we are going to Serra off on Shuri's lab here, and hopefully our final turn is strong enough. Oh, for sure, Checkers. Yeah, I think what a lot of people need to realize about this deck is it's very much designed to score you like 4 and 8 cubes, or to score you a retreat. It's very much that kind of deck. Opponent also has access to Mr. Negative and Psylocke in their version over there. Goes to show you there are definitely many ways to build this. Yeah, Robin, I think you're probably right in the sense that is a pretty big high roll. The problem is you would, like, any hand where you draw negative is already a high roll. You don't really need Psylocke to get there faster, if that makes sense. So this is looking pretty good here. I think we are just going to be making ourselves a pair of Iron Man and playing Mr. Fantastic mid to add some stats to those locations. Hopefully my opponent played a powerful ongoing effect here that I can steal with Rogue. That would be very nice. Black Panther, not quite. That is a big boy, but I think we can be bigger. Alright, well, we are just going to put our hand on table, as they say. So we need more stats on the other side here, I think. So Angela, Blue Marvel, Rogue, Hopefully this is enough to lock up the 2 locations with these Iron Man. Plenty of stats in these 2 locations. 36 and 30 is nothing... 32, sorry. Or even 34 from Shuri's Lab. Nothing to turn your nose up at. But unfortunately, I don't think we beat the Black Panther here. Ugh. Not quite. Okay. I didn't stop to consider the 6-cost card from the raft, which was definitely relevant here, unfortunately. This was a really good example of what the deck is trying to do. Didn't get to do the negative side of things, just the Serra type of things. But a good example of what this deck is capable of, even though we came up a little short to Black Panther Zola. We'll try again, see if we can't find negative on curve this time and show off that half of the deck. It's obviously absurd when you find both, but... Off-topic question, but do you think Invisible Woman would be good in Kazoo to hide Kazar, Marvel, or Onslaught? This is kind of an approach that we've seen Patriot take. Patriot's been playing... Okay, well, I'm snapping with this hand on turn 1. We have everything we could ever want. Patriot's been trying to hide it behind Invisible Woman, keep it safe from Enchantress and Rogue. Maybe? Maybe that's something you want to explore in Kazoo. I think there are less, like, relevant cards to protect, but it could definitely... give you some protection against those cards, for sure. I could see it. Okay. Angela mid, I think, is where we go. We'd probably give up the Vault this game. Probably going to throw Mr. Negative into it on turn 4. Thanos is going to be a super interesting build around when we finally get him in pool 4 or 5, whenever it turns up. Card's very, very sweet for sure. Alrighty. Monster Island is mostly fine. We find a Wolfsbane. This is okay for me to play now, I think. You pulled Invisible Woman before Patriot? Well, Invisible Woman's playable in the Hella decks too. It does have some places where it's good. We even played it in Cerebro 2 on a video on the channel yesterday. How do the Infinity Stones work? We can only make our best guesses by reading them currently about how they work with their on-reveals. Obviously, we've never seen any in play, so... Alrighty, so Negativo. I guess, do we throw this into Flooding? Maybe we do. Yeah, I think we do. Then we look to Magic the Vault. And Serra, and then dump the rest. Okay, let's do that. He's played with the more cards are swapped and drawn. I've just been playing a lot more on Reveal Focus List, and the Psylocke always feels insane. Yeah, for sure, Robin. Again, I think there are a number of ways you can build Negative, right? There's definitely a number of things you can do that are not embarrassing options for a deck like this. The thing is, I think for a lot of people with Negative right now after the nerfs, is they really just want to create a list that is like really, really high rolly. And like the things that you're doing on turn 6 and 7 are just like fundamentally super unfair, to the point where getting to Negative a turn earlier and having to occasionally draw a card like Psylocke isn't good enough. But that's very much just like one school of thought, one school of rationale that could definitely be very wrong. You can randomly generate Thanos. It can still be generated randomly by a number of cards. The Hulk flip here was actually kind of crap for us. We really need to find an Iron Man here, huh? Are we playing this Bishop? I think we are playing this Bishop. Yes, you can indeed randomly generate both Galactus and Thanos currently. But you cannot collect them as things stand. This is going to be a tough one, I think. Okay, Blue Marble's a good hit. We unfortunately just don't quite have the space to do it all. We can win flooded if our opponent doesn't move vision into it. I think this is the way we're going. Yeah, Sarah is ridiculous. Sarah lets you do so many fundamentally dumb things. Really kind of sucks that we didn't draw either of our Iron Man or our Mystique following our powerful start here. It's kind of left us a bit rough with us not being able to have a third location. Opponent flooding us out early meant that we've just kind of been left with cards stuck in our hand that don't do anything. Whoa! They went for Limbo. That's good for us, right? Yeah, they Odin'd and moved a vision into the same spot. I don't really know what they were trying to achieve there. That one breaks perfectly for us. We will absolutely take those. Yeah, Negative's effect is so nice. It makes cards look incredible. I am also a big fan. Some really good examples of what this deck does so far. Happy to say it. It's been, I love playing this deck. It does so many cool things. And, I wish it was still a little bit better than I think it is right now, sadly. Psylocke can definitely be very good. The question is just, like, how often is she good enough? Mojo probably goes in the Nexus here. Feels like this is probably the location we're both going to be fighting for the most. Xandar. Okay. Well, Mr. Fantastic is fine mid. Opponent with no play on turn 3. What is going on here? Alright, so Wolfsbane here is going to be fine. We're going to magic another location next turn. Iron Man will go mid. Opponent will get one of our 5s. We obviously don't know which one. Hopefully they stole our Iron Man because we have Rogue. Right, okay. So Magic, going to take out the Icebox, give us a turn 7 here. Not drawn either of our big hitters. Playing a very fair game this game. Magic up the Icebox. Opponent plays a Hobgoblin. Okay, well, we're not going to want to play into Xandar very much then. Mr. Negative is a bit too late here, unfortunately. Going to fill up the Nexus before it is too late for me to do so. I imagine it's probably just Blue Marble to finish up on the final turn of the game. I'm not confident enough to snap here, though, because we didn't find either Sarah or Negative. Feels like we've been a bit stuck on actual power cards here. Opponent hasn't done very much, to be honest. Opponent plays Devil Dino mid. Well, wish I had a space to play Rogue now, but whoops-a-daisy. Oh, for sure. Like, there's plenty of ways you can play Negative. 100%. Oh, I think we're losing this. We give +8. Maybe that's enough. This feels like it might be a bit dodgy, but for a cube, I'll play it out. Sentinel puts our opponent back to 22. 24, sorry. Arrow? Okay, yeah, we're in trouble. We're all good. There we go. Okay, never mind. Blue Marvel's still good enough to win both locations there. Stealing one. That one felt like theft, honestly. Iron Man putting in a good showing on the Nexus. Did not think we were winning that. Did not think we were winning that one at all. Pleasantly surprised. Alright, more games where we draw the namesake card, please. We've only managed to negative once so far. Perfect. There we go. Think I'm going to snap turn 0 here, because we don't have any of the big hitters in our hand, and we already have our negative. So just going to try and earn ourselves the maximum number of cubes. You'll find yourself doing that a lot with this deck. Like, your power cards are just so powerful that you really want to make sure you get the most amount of cubes you can out of them every time you draw them. So Blue Marvel, not what we wanted to see really. Kind of wanted to flip that one. big hitters that are kind of left down there. Iron Man, Magic, Serra, not really a hit. So really Iron Man, Magic now. Don't want to draw either of those. Wolfsbane is fine. Going to play out Bishop here. I'm going to pretty happily throw Mr. Negative into the danger room because if it dies, I don't care. If that Moon Knight had ripped my negative, I would have been very sad. Thankfully, it did not. Easy cubes. Here's hoping. And we don't even draw any of the haymakers either. 2 danger rooms is not really what we want to see, though. Checkers knows how it works, yeah. Iron Man in deck, negative in hand. Easy as that. Swordmaster eats a Wolverine, sure. Into play it's going to come. Flips into a danger room. Negative juices the deck. Let's see what we can do. We draw a 0-cost Mystique. That one, pretty good. Should we just make 2 blue marbles? 2 blue marbles seems nice. No Serra, unfortunately. No Magic, unfortunately. So no way for us to elongate the game or get more of our hand out. Really would like to draw Iron Man, if at all possible. Opponent's got a big Apocalypse in hand. This one might be kind of hard to win through double danger room. Might have to take some chances. We do draw the Iron Man. Okay. What do we do on this one? I think we have to try and steal Morbius with Rogue. Then we can Fantastic and cross our fingers with the Iron Man. This seems pretty risky. I really don't know where this is going to go. Opponent snaps as well. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. I think we stay, but this negative might not be enough. Opponent went mid. Well, taking the Morbius doesn't matter anymore. They played the Apocalypse mid. Does Iron Man survive? It all matters on whether it survives. Yes! 8 cube game. There we go. Whew. That's how you do it. Get the adrenaline pumping. Whew. That was a spicy one. Double danger room really gets the nerves going. Alright, we didn't want to see that Shadowland. That's a bit crap. No early play for us here. Yondu is going to eat blue marble. Okay, that could be better. That could be worse. Baxter building. Sure. Bit of a clunky hand this time round. No negative, no Serra. Very much not what you're looking for. Icebox. We're just going to play out. So Rogue now costs 4. Probably not being played this game. We'll just play out the Angela into Baxter building. Start trying to do something. Opponent has a Storm. Okay. We might just be giving up Flooded. I'm not sure that's a fight we can really pick. So I think we Bishop mid and look to Magic Shadowland. Opponent will Jubilee. That is a gorgeous Jubilee variant. Opponent hits Chavez too. Look at that. Lovely card. Okay, that's not great. Opponent snaps. Do we think we can win this game? Magic buys us 2 turns. Serra is going to give us a pretty good turn 7. I think we can win this game. So I'm going to stay in for the snap. I think it's Serra into Iron Man Mystique is the line. Okay, the Spider-Woman is pretty bad. So, Sarah mid. Okay, Giganto might have taken this away from us, unfortunately. So is there any way for us to get cheeky here? No. No way of us stealing this one, I don't think. So Spider-Woman's an on-reveal, unfortunately, so we don't get to rogue her. Yeah, I think we are running away here, sadly. Rough beats. That definitely felt winnable, even though we didn't manage to do anything on curve. Bit of a shame about the location getting stormed off, I guess. Alrighty. No nutty hand. Oh my god, Weird World. Can negative win a Weird World game? Let us find out. Hopefully the opponent plays the negative for me. That would be great. Plays a Sunspot. Bifrost, sure. So we draw a Lockjaw. Freaky fish ruining everything. Certainly one way of looking at it. So I think I'm going to Mojo and Fantastic into Weird World, looking to slide them both into the Bifrost after turn 4. Oh. Okay. Maybe we're playing Fantastic on turn 4. Okay, what is this nonsense? Play from your opponent's deck, but on turn 6, swap back. Nice. Opponent wants to snap. Good lord. How do I even know if I'm ahead here? What a stupid game. I mean, I don't think we can necessarily run just yet. But I don't know what's happening here. This could be anything. This could even be a boat. We draw an Odin. Okay. Fantastic. Gonna try and slide it into the Bifrost. Thank you for the brand new sub. Freeborn. Thank you very much. Glad you're enjoying the show today. Welcome on in. Lockjaw, no fear. Just flip cards out of my own deck. It'll be fine. Genuinely might be the play, but we'll see. Alright, I think we have to get this Captain Marvel down here, because it gives us the most flexibility. Opponent stealing my rogue. Unacceptable. So we know they're going to have Blue Marvel, Magneto, Odin, Killmonger. So those are the things we got to try and beat. The Odin is largely irrelevant right now. The Magneto is not. I believe it pulls from my deck still, Checkers. However, we're not swapping because they drew my magic. Okay. Turn 7 it is. We draw their America Chavez. Opponent's out. Opponent's done. They want nothing to do with this absolute nightmare fest of a game. Oh, what a pile of variants. Good lord. Empanada, our opponent with this one. Okay, negative in hand, but also Iron Man in hand means I'm probably not snapping. We're definitely not going anywhere. Opponent has a leader. Okay, that's good to know. Probably just shoot negative. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. So negative into magic here is a pretty good curve. Hopefully we can find some good things to do beforehand. No turn to play though. So good flips that are still in the deck. Marvel. Bishop. Mystique. Yeah, hopefully our opponent didn't get an Iron Man from us. That would kind of suck. Okay, we get a random card from the hub. We get a Brood. Okay, I don't really want that. Fantastic into Nidavellir is going to give us mucho stats, hopefully. Cosmo. Oh, okay. Well, we're not playing Mr. Negative Mid then, are we? Was you Rogue? Okay, that's fine. So let's go negative into Bugle, I think. And probably look to Magic next turn. Buy us some more time to draw some goodies. Opponent will White Queen into a second copy of their own leader. Nice. We draw Angela. That's not terrible. So, let's clean up the hub into Limbo. And then we need to try and beat leader on turn 6. Be interested to see where my opponent plays their stuff. Will probably heavily influence where I play my stuff next turn to play around leader. Because if we both play leader, then things get messy. Ugh! I did not expect Professor X. That's gnarly. Ugh! Okay, so I can make 2 Iron Mans on the final turn of the game. Is that going to be good enough? Maybe. I think I leader. I think I play what my opponent plays here. I thought this was going to happen. Here is a pile of leaders. My pile is slightly larger. Okay, so how do we do this? So we play Angela first into Iron Man Mystique, and then my opponent should get 1 Iron Man and I should get 2. Thank you for the brand new sub, Leonardo. Welcome in. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Welcome, welcome. I don't know if this is enough, but I really can't be asked doing the math to figure it out. So they get Angela, and I should get 2 Iron Man and be fine. Yes! Look at that. Outplaying 2 leaders. Turn 6, turn 7. Easy. Easy game. Look at that. Yeah, no Iron Man at all. You are right. Leader does use the spot. Alright, let's play one more with this. See if it can't take us over into rank number 60 today. As we are just 1 cube away. So we'll see if it can take us through. Easy, easy indeed. The Vault, not great for this deck, but we can play through it with Mr. Fantastic. Olympia draws us 2 cards. Well, that was quite nice of it. I am probably going to snap now, as Iron Man is still in my deck, and Mr. Negative is in my hand, so that seems good. I would like to snap. When this deck does its thing, you really do feel like you're cheating. Opponent plays Armor into the Vault. Okay. Armor really doesn't narrow it down too much. This could still be many, many things. The Daily Bugle is going to give me a card here, which means I actually don't draw, which is good for me, because I don't want to draw right now. I want to draw after negative, so that's fine. Fantastic mid. Cosmo into the Vault means I am going to have to play Mr. Negative over into the Bugle, which is not ideal, but we can... Oh, we drew the Iron Man a turn too early. That's unfortunate. It's mostly stats, Duke. Mojo offers just ridiculous stats. And when you play Sarah, it costs 1 anyway. Which Ant-Man also only costs 1, so you're not like getting a cheaper card. Most of the time you're just playing a better 1-cost card. So we magic here to keep the vault open. Oh, we can't do that. There's a Cosmo. Ah! That's not what I meant to do. Yeah, fatigue definitely getting to me a bit. That was a bit silly. That was a bit stupid. Can we squeak through this? I don't believe we can. Destroyer wins this for them, basically, always. Retreat of shame. Retreat of shame. Look, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Some of us are terrible. I'm sorry. Oh, no, I can't end on this. I absolutely cannot end on this. We're going to try and get that 60. We're going to try and finish on 60. I will take a 4-cube game to do it. I am getting tired, though, pretty clearly. So let's try and do it in one more game so that I don't get really stupid. Alright, solid start here. None of the big payoffs, though. We do have some early plays, though. All the big hitters are still in the deck. Look, guys, when people ask you, like, you know, how good are the streamers? The question is, it's always deliberate. We never make mistakes, and it's always for the content. I need you to understand that all I wanted to do was make you laugh by me playing Magic into an area where it did nothing. It was deliberate, I promise. I will not be taking further questions at this time. We find ourselves with another Wolfsbane. Okay. I think I'll start stacking Angela in the Daily Bugle. Opponent with a copy of My Mojo. Sure. Would like to find Negative or Sarah. We're failing to do so, unfortunately. I think we just play Bishop over here. Good chance Rogue steals from my own Mojo. All about that content. Y'all get it. Y'all understand. You know what's up. Oh, how do we keep getting double Danger Room games? What is this nonsense? Cut that for the shorts? Yeah, that might happen. What is this crap? Alright. Opponent snaps. Of course they do. I don't think we can run yet, but Lord, what is this? Let's see if I can steal a Mojo and not have it die, huh? How about we try that? Opponent will Enchantress into the Danger Room, and it survives. I will Rogue, steal Mojo, and it's alive. Okay. So many Danger Rooms today. Iron Man mid seems like a shout, so we'll do that. Oh, okay, that makes sense. White Tiger thankfully goes the right way. Hey, Yixam, thank you for the brand new sub, my friend. Welcome to Marvel Snap Zone. My pleasure having you here tonight. Why did I draw Magic now? Howang, welcome in. Thank you for the sub, my friend. This game was brought to you by Professor X. Yeah, something like that. Thank you for all the lovely subs and support tonight, folks. It's been fantastic of you. I really appreciate it. Semper you, welcome to Marvel Snap Zone. I'm glad you're enjoying the show this evening. Alright, well, cross our fingers, folks. We're going to need it. I would like to make another Iron Man and have it survive. Tiger went the white way. Come on, Mystique, you can do it. Survive. Survive. Get out of here, Danger Room. Oh, Snowman, I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. But thank you for looking and checking it out. I appreciate that. Get out of here, Danger Room. Well, there you go. Look at that. What a nice one to finish on, huh? Up over rank 60. Got to show you all the cool things that Sarah Negative is capable of doing. If you have access to this deck, you're missing out if you don't play it. It's a blast. I highly recommend it. You get to do so many cool things with so many cool cards, and it's definitely one of my favourite ways to play Marvel Snap, even after the nerfs it has had. If you're looking for deck lists like this and everything else that we think is the best decks in Marvel Snap, the tier list is out tomorrow. The video will be live on this channel. The article will be live over on www.marvelsnapzone.com. Go and check it out. Make sure you don't miss out so you can play all the coolest decks like you've seen on the stream tonight. However, for now, that is going to be everything from me for this evening. Thank you for joining us for our first ever live stream here over at Marvel Snap Zone. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and thank you so much everyone who has subscribed, everyone who's become a member tonight, and one final time, like the stream for me. It will push it to more people and help us get bigger and bigger so that we can keep doing this. So click that thumb for me and make sure you show off every little bit of what we've been streaming tonight. It has been a blast. I look forward to being back with you again very, very soon. But until next time, folks, I have been HowlingMines, you have been amazing, and this has been Marvel Snap Zone. Have a good night.